Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It's Untethered Live on a Wednesday night. I'm your host, Jake Johnson, and joining me always is the great bandhammer, Amanda.
Howdy, Untethered Live.
What's going on out there in the world? Sorry I'm a little bit late. As always, I turned everything on, got the studio up and popping, and update. Got an update. It's always a crapshoot. I never know if anything is going to work after the update or not, and turns out this time, not so much. So it got me on my back feet a little bit, but that's all right. We're here. We're kicking it. We're going to keep going. I have to run everything manually for now, so if I'm a little distracted, that's okay. I just all of my automation is gone, so I've got to do everything myself, which isn't much, but, you know, the stuff that has to happen. Anyway, let's see who's in chat. Who's first in chat? Amanda, you're first in chat?
No, Amy Elizabeth.
I guess my chat jumped and won't go back up. Let's see what we got here.
What time are you at?
That's stuck at 8:34, 8:05. Okay. Yeah, my chat jumped and won't let me go back up, but I got it up here.
Okay.
Amy says, evening, Jake and Amanda, and hi, Untethered Live family. It's been a busy night at work. I'll be listening mostly. Our friend Angela has been restricted from commenting on YouTube and says hi. Well, hello, Angela. It is not me, I promise. There's nothing on my end. I looked it over last night. Nothing that has happened here has caused that. So I apologize that you can't comment, but I assure you it won't last forever. Hang in there, and you'll be back to commenting in no time. And Amy, you get the gold star for being first in chat. Thank you, dear. Cowboys 8 panel says, see y'all soon. Hey, Cowboys. Are you coming over? Amanda says, Amy, here's your gold star. Amanda, you say that.
Amy, here's your gold star. And hi, Amy and Cowboys. And hi, Untethered Live family. Good to see y'all. Happy hump day.
Camel. Get a little bit closer to that microphone, please.
Camel.
All right.
I hope everyone is doing good. Hiya, Jake. How are you tonight?
Fantastic. A little flustered, a little behind, but I'm here. I actually have a big behind, but I'm a little behind, too. Yeah. I got to look up there to see what y'all said because I can't go there here. Another one of those lovely updates. Patty's here. She says, hello, hello, everyone. Smiley face. Hi, Patty. How are you?
Hi, Patty, hun.
Patty says, Miss Amanda, peace. And what's all going on today? Well, there's been another attack on a ice building in Texas somewhere, or Arizona, one of those places. There's charges coming up on James Comey imminently. That's going to be interesting. Jimmy Kimmel's back on TV because that lasted a whole 24 hours. And, you know, life goes on. Things happen. People are freaking out. What can you do? Big John Nugget, what's up, my brother?
Your chat must have jumped.
Yep, I got it.
Not much here, Patty. Just laundry, cleaning, and cooking. LOL. Typical wifey day.
Wifey day. I like it. Laundry. When she talks wifey, that means I'm getting clean clothes.
You never run out of clean clothes, so.
Amanda says.
How about you, Patty?
Linda Davis is in the chat. Hi, Linda. She says, hi, Jake and Amanda, Patty, Amy, and Cowboys 8 panel. How are you doing, Linda Lovely? Good to see you. Nice of you to drop in. I hope you're doing well today. Happy and smiling.
Hi, Linda, hun.
Patty says, it must have been love, but it's over now.
Oh, it's always love.
Linda says, but it's over now. I think I said that.
Yeah. Must have had it. You must have been loved, but I missed it somehow.
That's a good song. I miss those days. The days when music sounded like it had shimmering in the background, like chimes for some reason.
Uh-huh.
Everything was synthesized. Big music. I love it. I miss it. Ah, the old days. Aaron's here, he says. Comes in standing up. What's up, Aaron? You got your pants on?
Hello, Aaron.
Patty says, well, I war a lot these days with spiritual battles. I guess if old Slewfoot is not bothering you, then he has you right. Exactly. If the devil ain't after you, that means he's already got you. He's only after you if he ain't got you. So if you're having trouble, thank God for that. That just means you're alive. Linda Davis says, sorry, Patty, I had to finish the lyrics. Right on. And I'm sorry you're having trouble, but you know we love you. And if you need anything, reach out. Aaron says, hello, ma'am. Hey, ma'am. Amanda. Hello, Amanda. And Patty says, Miss Linda, smiley, smiley, smiley.
LOL, Linda. We all put our own line in there.
How is it that you're struggling to read what you wrote?
Because I was trying to follow my chat. It jumped and I was trying to catch it back.
Linda says, hey there, Aaron, smiley. And Aaron says, well, hello there, stranger. Hello, stranger. Nice to see you. Lady B's here. She says, hey, everyone. Hey, hey, everyone, lots of love. Hey, Lady B. Nice to see you with the hearts and the dead smiley faces. And Linda says, hi, Lady B.
Hi, lady.
Patty says, hi, Lady B. And Lady B says, hey, Linda, Amanda, and Patty. And wave your hands. And Linda says, the last one starts school tomorrow. Back to the routine. Oh, my God, I don't envy you that. I remember those days getting up at 5 a.m. every morning to get them kids up and ready and teeth brushed and hair brushed and clothes on and books together and breakfast made and coffee made and out the door and wait for the bus and pass out on the way back. I remember those days. And many of them.
Hi, lady.
I wouldn't trade it for nothing, though. Lady B says, I hope the school year is great, Linda. Me too. I hope they're passing. Aaron says, I had a weird thing happen to me last night. Uh-oh. I woke up and was half asleep still, and I walked into the bathroom, but I was dreaming I was dead, so I woke up on my feet standing in the kitchen. Yeah, that is weird. I had a dream last night that I woke up with an erection, and I got up and I went to the bathroom and I couldn't pee because, I had an erection. So I was pushing down on it, trying to get it to where it would aim into the bath and into the toilet, and I pushed too hard and my feet slipped out from under me.
I knew that was coming. Damn it, man.
Lady B says, hey, Aaron.
Awesome, Linda. Back to some peace and quiet.
Only during the school hours.
Hey, there's still some peace and quiet.
But when they get home, it's all day long until bedtime. Aaron says, I was begging to go back to life. Well, you are alive, and you got your wish. That was probably your subconscious playing on you. Sometimes when you have weird dreams like that, or upside down dreams, or dreams that don't seem to make any sense, it's your subconscious mind trying to work out issues that you may subconsciously be wrestling with and don't even realize it. Just pay attention to those things and think on it. That's all you can do. Maybe you'll work it out. As always, if you need anybody, I'm here. Lady B says, is Debbie here? I loved her. Heart. Debbie 2.
No.
I don't think Debbie 2 is here.
No, neither. Well, Debbie 1 is here now, but Debbie 2's not.
I think Debbie's here, but I don't think Debbie 2 is here. I think she only came in that one night. Maybe she'll be back. We'll see. Amanda says,
not yet, lady.
Mm-mm.
Oh, wow, Aaron. Crazy.
And then,
not yet, lady.
and Linda says, it's been a crazy week, but it's ironing out pleasantly, as it usually does. I had a weird day today. we had to work on the machine, pull a head off of the machine and replace a little part. So basically, I just stood there all day while he ran around running errands. And like I worked for 10 minutes, and the rest of the day I was just waiting on him to get back. I still got paid, so whatever. Just a long day when you have to just sit there waiting. Lady B says, hey, Jake. Hey, lady. How are you, sweet? Big John Nugget says, hi, all you wonderful people. I hope you're all good. Thumbs up and heart. I hope you're good too, John. How are you? How's the weather where you are? Sorry, my voice is a little scratchy still. Aaron says, Amanda, I could feel both sides, and I didn't like it.
Scary, Aaron. Hi, Nugget.
Yeah, it does sound scary, but you're alive. You never did die. You were there sleeping. It's just your subconscious mind is grappling with some stuff. I understand that feeling. Maybe one day when we're private, I'll tell you a little something about how minds can do. You won't like that either. Linda says, hi, Nugget, heart. And Patty says, hi, Big John. How is it across the pond? Sue Woods is here and says, hello, everyone. Well, hello, Sue. Amanda says, Jake is coming. Had a last-minute update. Yep, my computer just decided it needed more stuff. Vicky RN is here. Hi, Vicky. Welcome back. Nice to see you again.
Hi, Sue.
Lady B says, Aaron, sleepwalking. I did that a lot years ago when I was stressing and couldn't turn the day off in my mind. Yep, wrestling with stuff subconsciously. It'll do it to you. And Vicky says, thanks for the invite, Amy. You're always invited, Vicky.
Hi, Vicky.
Aaron says, I was rushed outside saying, what about my kids? And my neighbor was like, dude, it's 4 a.m. WTF. You did that in real life or you in your dream? Sue says, hi, Amanda. And Debbie says, update. Code for needs to get dressed. Nope, I actually had an update. Sometimes it does it. I don't turn the system on until about 30 minutes before it's time for me to go. So always right before the show, there's an update when there's one. Usually about once a month. And most of the time it works out okay, but occasionally it just screws everything up. And that's what happened this time. So I got to go back through the system and figure out what went wrong and fix it. Right now I'm running everything manually and in safe mode. So I don't even know if the video looks good or not. It's just there.
Yeah.
I don't have any of my plugins running.
It's okay.
Don't know how I sound either.
You sound fine.
Linda says, hi, Vicky and Sue. And Sue says, hi, Linda.
LOL, no, not this time anyway. Hi, Debbie.
Linda Davis says, LOL, hi, Debbie. And hi, Debbie. How are you? Good to see you. Aaron says, did everybody hit that like button? Yes. Hit that like button, please. There's 17 people in chat and only 11 likes. That means 6 of you didn't like me very much. Hit the like button. We need it. And also, get yourself a nice hot cup of coffee and have a cup of coffee with me. Thank you to the people that provide the coffee for the show. This is a regular cup of Joe, don't you know? I like it that way for show. Go have a cup with me, and if you don't have a cup, you can get one in the description below. They have nice cups down there. The first one, I recommend that one. It has my face on it. It's a regular coffee cup. But below that, we have stainless steel tumblers with locking lids, big ones and little ones. And they both have the Untethered Live Bible Study logo on the front. All the platforms on the back. They keep your coffee hot for hours, and they look great on your coffee table. So get one while supplies last. Or a pair of nail clippers, or a rusty nail, or a 2x4, or whatever you want. I'm pretty sure you can get it down there. Anyway, like, subscribe, share, support, join, and super chats are available in the chat box if you want to show a little love. If you want to throw a little change in my pocket, you can do that by going to CashApp, $JakeJohnsonband. I greatly appreciate that very much, and so do all the people I owe money to. One last thing. If you would like to hang out with us outside of YouTube, get to know each other on a personal level, one-on-one, share pictures, videos, texts, and chats, you can do that over at our hub, facebook.com/UntetheredLive chilling. It's a great place to hang out, share memes, and just have a good time. It's free, and it's for you, so go check it out. And now, back to the chat. Patty says, hello, Miss Sue and Debbie, and I am Patty. Yes, you are. Peppermint Patty cake. Baker's man. Lady B says, hey, Sue and John. Amy says, liked, shared, and invited some friends. Well, thank you, Amy. I appreciate you very much. Kevin Bernard, my friend. Great St. Bernard's here. Kevin says, hello, Jake, Amanda, and everyone. Nice to see you, Kev. How you doing today? You working hard or hardly working? Lady B says, hey, Amy, smart cookie. Smart cookie and cookie. Cookie Buster. Boy. I don't know where I'm going with that. Amy says, hey, Vicky. And Linda says, Amy, you're amazing. She is amazing.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Kevin.
Listen here, Squeaky.
I know I'm squeaky. Can't help it. It's my new thing. Big John says, I had a bit of trouble someone tried to rob me and ended up on the floor knocked out. Hey, that's the way you do it. Did you give him a good walloping? Did you let him know you wasn't about to be played? By the way, I hope you guys enjoy the fire tonight. I figured we'd do something different. This is a preamble to the real thing. Eventually, I'm going to do a show outside with the bonfire. But we got to work out the logistics because you can't see me in the dark. Amy says, hey, Kevin. And Patty says, hi, Kevin. Lady B says, Kevin, dead smiley face. Sue says, hi, Patty. Amy says, hi, Debbie, Linda, Nugget, Lady B, and Patty. And Sue says, hi, Lady B. Amy says, hi, Sue.
Oh, damn, Nugget. I'm glad you're okay. And good job.
Yeah, knock that joker out. Don't let him give you no crap. We're getting to that kind of situation around here, too. People are running their mouths, and they don't realize that time's done. They're learning, though. Patty says, go Big John. That's what happens when you try that. FAFO. Amy says, hi, Aaron. And Linda says, hey, Kevin, I hope you're doing better. I hope you are, too. I didn't know you were doing poorly. But I hope you're doing better. Aaron says, what has a butt and no crack? An unbroken butt? I don't know. What?
A cigarette.
A cigarette. That's not always true, though, because you can put a rock in there. Then it would be a butt with a crack. Right? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Kevin says, hello, Amy, Patty, Lady B, Debbie, and Aaron. And Sue says, oh, no, Nugget. Aaron says, hi, Amy. And Kevin says, hello, John and Sue. Lady B says, Kevin, you been under the weather? I don't know. Sue says, hi, Kevin. Big John says, he picked the wrong person, me being an ex-boxer. You're quite a large fella, too, aren't you? Muscular. I mean, I'd say you could put a walloping on somebody. Cowboy says, hi, all. Hi, Cowboys. How are you? How's things going in your life? I think my voice is finally loosening up a little bit. Amy says, hello to anyone I missed, and hello, lurkers. Yes, hello to those that are in the background that wish not to speak. You can speak. Come join us. You're welcome. Step right up. Show yourselves. But hello, nonetheless. Kevin says, hello, Linda. Patty says, it's raining here in southeast Tennessee. It hadn't rained here in quite a while. I hope it does, though. Cool off a little bit. And Kevin says, hello, cowboy. Lady B says, how is Sue tonight? I don't know. Ask her.
Nugget. They FAFO to the right person, huh?
I swear you need to come over and be American there, John. You got the right attitude. We need more people like you. Y'all need more people like you. Maybe I need to go be British. Amy says, hi, Cowboys 8 panel. And Sue says, hi, Amy. And Lady B says, hey, Cowboy. And Sue says, Nugget, you're in England, right? And Amy B says, Amy says, some college dude pooped in the toilet and purposely clogged it with paper towels. Another example of why college is a waste, literally. Well, let me tell you a story. I have done many fraternities and sororities, playing shows. And for a while there, I was like the local guy that everybody called. And we played all the frat houses and, big parties, legendary parties that wrote about it in the newspaper the next day and stuff like that. But I have never seen filth as much as I have the day I played a sorority for the first time. I don't know what you ladies get up to, but I've never seen a bathroom look that filthy in my life. It was horrible. It was like a war zone. There was shit on the walls and on the floor and paper everywhere and piss everywhere. It was horrible. Now, a guy's bathroom stinks, and it probably smells like puke or cigarettes or something. But it's relatively, the paper's around the trash can, There might be a clogged toilet or two, but it's relatively bathroom-like. That women's bathroom at the sorority was the worst thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I've seen it more than once. So there's something going on there. Them college girls do not care at all. I don't know what they're doing in there, but it ain't going to the bathroom. Sue says, I'm great, Lady B. How are you? Big John says, I'm on the border of Italy and France. Nice. I've always wanted to go through there. I guess I don't exactly know the location or the topography there very well. I thought Italy was at the bottom and France was at the top, and England was in the middle. Are you saying that Italy touches France? I did not know that. I guess I just picture it in my mind, like France, Europe, Italy, and Scotland and Ireland off to the side. I gotta go back and look at a map. Lady B says, it rained a lot here in Bama, Patty, and we needed it. I was under a burn ban. My late tomatoes needed the rain. It sucks to hear about the tomatoes. I bet they would have made great sandwiches.
Yuck, Amy. Sucks for you.
Yes, it does. Get a coat hanger and dig it out. Put it in a bag and find out who did it and take it back to them. Amy says, are we having technical difficulties? I hope not. Are you talking about my update?
Yes.
Yes. I hope that the stream is relatively acting like it's supposed to be.
It's good.
Aaron says they should change the plumbing bill to his room and board. If he can't, they should charge the plumbing bill to his room and board. Yeah, if he can't figure out a way to use a bathroom better than that, they ought to, yeah. Teach him a lesson up front. Lady and Amy says, smiley, smiley, smiley.
And yes, Amy, he's working on it.
Patty says, it's good to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. Norm. I missed that show. I watched that thing religiously back when I was a kid. It seemed like the good stuff to be on TV. And Linda says, Aaron, finish your joke. I think the joke was, what has a butt and no crack? A cigarette. Lady B says, agreed, Aaron. And Cowboy says, getting the coffee. Good deal. I'll drink some with you. That's a good cup, too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I said, I'm here, everybody. Just a last-minute update that screwed everything up with a lot of typos. A lot of Y's for some reason, and R's. Amy says, who, Aaron? How to going to find out? I'm not taking a sample. How am I going to find out who did it? I'm not going to take a sample. Well, there might be a camera or a Ring doorbell somewhere. You might get some forensic evidence. You might could go sleuth hounding and track them down. There might be a kernel of corn, and you can figure out what the meals were for that day and track down who ate what. There's a lot of ways to find a guy. Or you could just blame somebody innocent and just be done with it. I'm sure they're guilty of something. Aaron says, you got to guess first about the joke. Yeah. I say cigarette. Is that it? Amanda?
Cigarette. Cigarette, Aaron. Your joke. LOL. Nope, Cowboys.
Lady B says, them old darn updates. Yeah, dead smiley face. I know, right? Every time. It gets me every time. There'll be something in it that just won't jive with my system, and it just crashes everything. The update works fine, but as soon as it pops up, there's a little pop-up that pops up and has an OK button on it, and it tells me a few plugins don't work anymore. And when I press the OK button, it won't go away. What's that all about? Just keep pressing the OK button, it won't go away. And then I can't do anything behind it, so it ain't like I can get around it. So something screwed up in the installation. I got to go back through and figure out what it was. Probably got to uninstall everything and reinstall the new version and then install the updates one at a time until I find out which one was bad. That's what it's all about. Tedious stuff. And Linda says, That's how I feel, Linda. Aaron says, cameras and time frame. You could get phone data for that day on campus and find out who was in the bathroom at within 24-hour period, and then locate who might have used the bathroom at that time. You got to do that. Or, you could just coat hanger it out and go on with your day. I'm up for the figuring out who did it and making their life miserable. Amy says, why can't Miss Piggy count to 70? She gets to 69 and gets a friggin' frog in her throat.
I like 77 better.
Me too. That's the same thing as 69. You just get 8 more. Aaron says, a peach. A peach has a butt and no crack. Yep, I can see that. It does have a butt-shaped area.
I mean, yeah, I could go along with that, too.
Lady B says, game for an ad. Wow. I don't know what they put on the ads. That has nothing to do with me. They just do their thing. I don't control that part at all. Amy says, finally, yay. I was turning to dust waiting. Peach. It was a peach. And Lady B says, hardware store. Right?
Here he comes.
That's me. Yep. Linda says, LOL, Amy. Lady B says, cool ads. Thank you. Amy says, that's what she said. Amy says, please press the thumbs up button. Yes, hit that like button, everybody. Getting close. We only got one left. Kevin says, Jake was conditioning his mustache. I did trim up a little. It's getting kind of long. Looking kind of haggard. Amy says, LOL, Kevin.
I don't think he was meant like that.
Whatever do you mean?
You was conditioned in your mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to weave a blanket.
I mean,
And Lady B says, Kevin, what? And Linda says, I've got my coffee and no pants on. Yes. Let's get this party started. I'm with you, girl. I also have no pants on.
and coffee.
And coffee. It's lovely. And a Mountain Dew. And a backup. Cigarettes. Got them all. 2 out of 3. Lady B says, hey, Jake. Hey. Nice to see you, Lady B. How you doing today? Sue Wood says, he drinks tequila and she talks dirty in Spanish. I think that's what that means. Fab Daddy says, hey, everybody. Hey, Fab Daddy. Nice to see you. Amy says, welcome back, Vicky and Sue. Hang on, my chat jumped. What's the number? Ooh.
844.
844. I'm close. There it is. Lady B says, hey, Fab. Amy says, hey, Fab Daddy. And Sue says, hi, Fab Daddy. Amanda says, hi, Fab. Kevin says, hello, Vicky. Lady B says, hey, Vicky. Linda Davis says, hey, Fab. Sue says, hey, Amy. Patty says, hey, out of daddy. I'm not the daddy. Out of daddy. Kevin says, hello, Fab Daddy. And Sue says, who here was giving me all the advice about visiting England? Don't know. Patty says, sorry, I meant Fab Daddy. And Fab Daddy says, I had someone break into my garage and they stole my limbo pole. Commit how low they can go. Well, that is pretty low to steal your limbo pole. That's as low as it gets. Low down, dirty scoundrel. I could do that when I was 12. I tried it once again when I was about 18 and nearly killed myself. And they were like, dude, we can't raise it any higher. Amy says, that was John Nugget, Susie. Sue says, I thought so, Amy, thanks. Rachel says, hello, Rachel. How are you doing, lovely? Fab Daddy says, common. It's pretty common. Aaron says, no shirt, abs free. I have abs. They're just covered over by a 12-pack. I got a 6-pack. It just has a 12-pack on top of it.
I keep telling you, you've got to have a shed for your tool.
Yeah. What if you just like to leave your tools laying out?
No. I like to put my tools away when I'm done with them.
Linda says, LOL, Fab. Amy says, hi, Rachel. Kevin says, hello, Rachel. And Sue says, hey, Rach.
Hi, Rachel.
Racha, which is German for something. Sherlock Holmes. Never mind. Linda says, ninnies, Aaron. Ninnies. Those will cost you. Sue says, hey, Rachel. Aaron says, Fab. They used it as a stripper pole. It was a tiny stripper.
Well, Fab is in California, so.
Right. Lady B says, Victor and Debbie, too. If they are here, hi, y'all. I don't think Victor's here. Yeah, Victor is here. There he is. I don't know where Debbie 2 is, but there's Victor. Aaron says, ninnies. Cool. Victor says, evening, everybody. Hello, Victor. Nice to see you.
Hi, Victor. And oh, my, Aaron.
Oh, my. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. You can't blame me. It's the drugs the government did on me when I was a child.
The drugs the government did on you while you was a child.
Yeah. The experiments.
Okay.
Linda Davis says, hi, Victor. Bill Bennett's here. He says, I like your background. Hello, Untethered Live fam. It's not really sure what untethered actually means. You don't know what untethered means? Have you ever tied a knot before? You know when you untied it? There you go. You know when you take a boat to a dock and you get off the boat and you wrap the lead wire around a pole? That's tethering. Untethering is the opposite of that. Also, if you've ever been on a playground and there was a pole sticking up out of the ground with a ball hanging on a wire, and you saw kids beating the ball around the pole, that's also tethering.
That's called tetherball.
So the opposite of that.
Man, I missed that. That game was fun.
That game was retarded.
The game was fun. I used to play the hell out of that game.
That game makes about as much sense as that other game makes, where you pick up all the little sharp objects and then drop them on the ground and then go, ooh, and then pick them up and drop them on the ground and go, ooh, and then pick them up, drop them on the ground and go, ooh.
Talking about jacks?
Yes. Just a thing to ruin your feet. That's what those are.
Don't leave them laying on the floor.
You're talking about children.
Well, I didn't let my kids have those when they were young. They had the
Me
plastic
either.
ones.
Fab Daddy says, I like live music, whether it's big or small, it's live and enjoy it. Right? I'm with you. Patty says, Roxette must have been love. Oh, I knew. I know the song.
Hi, Bill.
What in the world will make a brown-eyed girl turn blue? When everything I'd ever do, I'd do for you. And I go, na, 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 she's got the look. Kevin says, hello, Victor and Bill. SBGAI Music says, peace. What's up, SBG?
Hi, SPG. Welcome.
Welcome to the show. Come on in, tell us a little bit about yourself. Fab Daddy says, does Jake have any feel-good stories to share? Or anyone else? I need something positive. I need some positive vibes. A feel-good story. Well, shit, you got me there, partner. I don't think I do feel good.
Feel good? Well, you grab it and hold on to it until you feel good.
I got a nap today. That was pleasant.
Yep. Got rubbed right to sleep.
Fab Daddy, if you want to have a good vibration, just take a screenshot of my face and then put it as a background on your phone. And then every time you look at your phone, you'll get a goosebumps. I got nothing, buddy. Patty says, I need a positive vibes as well, Fab. Jack and Jill went up the hill. They each one had a quarter. Jill come running down with 50 cents. You think that bitch went up for water? Victor said, I had the same thing, but it wasn't a dream. Oh, you're going way back to the dream. That's not good, buddy. Big Nugget says, whitewashing the ceiling. Is that what you're doing right now? Is that what you're saying?
That's when you were talking about your hard on pee.
Oh. Well, that's why you got to push it down. And if you push too hard, your feet will slip out from under you. Mine will, anyway. I don't know about yours. A lot of torque there. You know what I'm saying? Linda says, that sounds like what I'm in for. Teenage boys, I'll be up early. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. teenage boys, they'll be hard to get ready. They'll drag ass right until the last minute and then cram food in their mouth and run out the door.
And still manage to miss the bus.
Lady B says, I had memory stuff to happen this week. Nice. Or bad. I should probably read the rest of it. First, I left 4 packs of steaks and meats in the car for 2 days while getting groceries. It took you 2 days to get groceries? Today, I left the trunk up. Today, it rained all in the trunk. Y'all help. Oh, Lord. So memory problems is what you're having. I got you. CoQ10 and ginkgo biloba will help with that. You can get both of those at the dollar store. In the if you go to a good dollar store, the big one, go to the aisle where the aspirin and the cough syrup and all that is, and go down to where the vitamins are and look through there and find you some CoQ10. That's CoQU10. I think that's how you spell it. And then get some ginkgo biloba. That's GINKO biloba. And that'll help with your memory problems. Take 2 a day for a week, and that will improve. Hope that helps. Fab Daddy says, head dives into toilet. Not okay. Sit down first. Sleepyheads piss all over the place. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, I don't do that. I try not to do that. Sue says, I had a dream a tornado sucked me up, and then I became a tornado and needed to eat everything to survive, but people misunderstood my motives and hated me as a tornado. The moral of the story is learn how to give blowjobs. Maybe. Or it could be stay out of trailer parks. Or it could be, yeah, I got nothing. Why would you dream of being a tornado? That's horrible. I guess it would be fun if you were the tornado. Not so fun for the people being tornadoed. Were there sharks in the dream? Are we talking Sharknado? Because that would be great. I don't know. Aaron says, Lady B, what kind of meat? And from what store? That's important. If it was steak, like last week, I saw 2 ribeyes, regular ribeyes, a pack of 2, $41. I was like, there's no way in hell I'd ever pay that for 2 steaks. $41. And they weren't even big steaks. I think they were like 6 ounces, 7 ounces. They weren't very thick either. $41. No way. You guys have lost your mind. Sure enough, the next day we bought steak at Walmart for a reasonably priced. It was that store. They were trying to get away with something. Aaron says, I can't type on this dang phone. I'm sorry. Well, I got you. I understood what you meant. I speak typoese. Amy says, Debbie, too, is busy working a job. Well, at least she's here around. At least she's thinking about us. Maybe she'll come back. Tell her we like having more Debbies. But our Debbie's special, so she's going to have to double up. Speaking of Debbie, where are you at, Debbie? You haven't said a whole lot. Patty says, sometimes it may be what you eat before bed that causes sleep difficulties. Yeah, sometimes it can, like if you eat a pickle, a bad pickle or something like that, or a pizza with a little tainted meat. Sometimes if you eat pork. I stopped eating pork one time for like a year. And then eventually I started eating pork again. But the first day I ate pork, I had the wildest dreams, like things you wouldn't even imagine. Crazy stuff. All night long, just vivid dreams. Something about eating pork. I don't know what it is. I don't know how that affects your dreams, but it does. That's a good call, Patty. Fab Daddy says, Lady B, senility is a shame. It's not necessarily senility. Sometimes it's just fragility. Sometimes you just get frazzled. Aaron says, or what you did, Patty? Or what you did, Patty? Huh?
I'm not sure.
Linda says, it's them big fingers, Aaron. Fab Daddy says, Sue is a freak of nature. Is she? Why? Oh, because she was a tornado? That'd be kind of cool. You won't mess with a tornado, so you'd have some stature at least. But if you're a tornado, it really doesn't matter if people like you or not, because you're a tornado. You got the last say. Big John says, windy and raining. Where you are? Well, that's not good if you're camping out, buddy. You got cover?
And don't get me started on Jake's fingers. LOL, magic hands.
Well, you know. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron says, my fingers are not big, just long hands. I think that's the point. You know what they say about a guy with long hands, don't you?
He's got long fingers.
He wears long gloves. Patty says, I want to visit Alabama. Or Ireland. Or Switzerland. Or anywhere else that has that flag that I don't know about.
It's a British flag.
I don't know if it is.
It is.
Fab Daddy says, guitarists have calluses for a reason. They do for a little while. Here's a funny thing. If you play long enough, they'll go away. I don't have calluses anymore. I used to, though. I used to have big, hard calluses with black lines on my fingers. But they just went away over time.
It was funny when me and Jake first got together years ago. I would wake up in the morning with like 3 or 4 bruises on my forearm where he'd be playing the guitar in his sleep on my arm.
That's a true story.
It was funny.
And Linda says, Amanda, smiley, smiley. Aaron says, if I hurt my foot, I use my other crutch. Well, yeah. Amy says, I haven't been following the news. What's this thing about Tylenol? There has been a study. I don't know if it was the FDA or the CDC or somebody put out a study that drew a correlation between pregnant women and autism and Tylenol. So apparently those cases of autism had higher levels of Tylenol in their systems at birth, and they drew a link between the two. And then Trump went out with RFK, and they did a press conference, and they repeated the news. So now everybody is blaming Trump, saying that he doesn't have a degree, and they're not going to listen to him because he's not a scientist. And like, it's not his announcement. He's just doing the press conference. He's the president. That's his job, to deliver the news. But the scientists are the ones that come up with this. Well, now there's a bunch of pregnant women on YouTube and TikTok taking handfuls of Tylenol because they'd rather own the Republican than worry about the safety of their child. Because if there was even a 1% chance that that could be a thing, I wouldn't risk my child's health over that. So that just shows you what kind of mothers they'll be. But that's what's going on. Lady B says, Aaron, it was steaks, ribeyes, and a New York strip. I got them on sale, and I cried because I can't believe I didn't realize they were in the car. For 2 days ruined. It just puzzles me, Aaron. Yeah, I know that sucked. It's okay, though. Things slip your mind sometimes. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's not that big a deal unless you're really, really tight. And if you are, let me know, and I'll send you a couple steaks. And that way you ain't lost out on nothing.
Just an idea, maybe. If you're having forgetful thoughts or forgetful issues or whatever, and you going grocery shopping or whatever, don't put it in the trunk. Put it in the back seat or put it in the sink next to you so you remember to get it.
Right. Sometimes you have to do it like that or write yourself notes. But get you some CoQ10 and some ginkgo biloba and take that. That will increase your memory and the longevity of your thought systems. So you'll remember things longer and more in depth. And Fab Daddy says, don't take it. Don't take what? Tylenol? I agree. Unless you absolutely have to. And Sue says, Nugget, I took a sample of the Life in the UK test and passed with only a bit of knowledge I have. I just love history and talk a lot to my friends there who share stuff with me. Well, that's cool. And Big John says, sounds and looks fantastic. And Sue says, I just thought it was neat. I know enough already to pass that. Lady B says, I hope Jake sings some early before his nice voice goes out. Well, it ain't very nice tonight, Lady B. I'm having trouble talking tonight. I can try, but it won't sound very good. I don't think I can do a lot of singing. But if you just want to hear me play, I'll play a song for you. Aaron says, from what store, Lady B? And Fab Daddy says, that's awesome to read, Sue. Cowboys 8 Pound says, everything does look fine. The hair especially. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Probably not tonight, lady. He's struggling with it already. He will play Elizabeth, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll play a song for you guys. I'll try to sing something in a little bit. And Sue says, Fab Daddy, that's like their citizenship test. Lady B says, thank you, Amy. Tell Debbie too. And Lady B said, hugs. Linda says, nice background, Jake. We're having a bush party in the woods tonight. Hey, where's the kegs? Sounds like fun. You're going to have one of those your own, huh? I got my microphone right in the way. It's kind of hard to see that fire. I wish I could move it, but then it would look weird. It's got sound, too. Occasionally I'll turn it on and you can hear it crackling, but over the computer it just reads as static, so I keep it off or very low. Fab Daddy says, okay, cool. And Batshit Crazy's here. He says, hey, folks. What's up, Batshit? Nice to see you, my friend. Big John says, Sue, you don't need a passport to get in the UK. The migrants don't. I'm joking, Sue. You're a smart person. Yeah, you need a passport. Aaron says, bush party. Yeah, that sounds like fun, actually. Get some cold beers. I don't even drink beer, but it sounds like the thing to do. Get some cold beers or some cold Mountain Dews and a bonfire and get a grill and cook some steaks and sit out by the campfire and sing songs and tell stories. That sounds like a blast. Listen to some music. Yeah. Amy says, I take a lot of Tylenol all day, every day. I'm fine. Well, I don't think the study was for adults. I think it was for newborn babies and the correlation of that causing autism.
I bet.
Fab Daddy says, Linda, you ever do a beer bong at the keg? Or did you do the handstand? Oh, I've done both. At the same time. Upside down, beer bong, handstand. Yeah. I don't even drink beer, but I did it. Because I'm the life of the party, and that's what I'm supposed to do. Made everybody else get drunk. Lady B says, Fab, what's the word you said was a shame? Senility. Aaron says, I ran out in real life. And about the dream comment. Oh, you ran out in real life and the neighbor said, what's going on? Right on. Man, that must have been some dream. And Victor says, as long as it's working, it don't have to be hard. You've got a point.
Yeah.
You can just squeeze it real hard at the base and get busy. And Lady B says, tell me again. Senility is a shame. Sue says, oh, I know. My friend told me about the dangerous trip they take across the English Channel on small boats. And I saw some stop the boats protest stuff. And Lady B says, hey, Victor. Linda says, beer bong, Fab. Yeah, I knew you were a party girl. I could see it. Fab Daddy says, senility, it's when old people become senile. Aaron says, tell you what again, lady, about senility. And Sue says, if I was to move there, I'd do it legally. But I doubt I ever would move there. Batshit Crazy says, Poland, crime, immigration, statistics, both near zero. Yeah, Poland, they're running that country right. Despite all the Polish jokes, it's a nice country, and they're very serious about immigration. And as a result, they have very, very low crime rates. And it's quite a nice place to live, as I've been told. So is Hungary. They got to jam up prime minister or president, whatever he is, in Hungary. That guy's really, he's killing it. And Linda Davis says, hey, Bat. Big John says, I hate violence, but it had to be. I walked away and left him, and then I prayed for him. Well, you did the right thing. You turned the other cheek as you were turning his other cheek. Wha-pow. Batshit Crazy says, a cigarette. That's what has a butt and no crack. You got it, Bat. Lady B says, Aaron, y'all know I have typos too. You have type 2 typos? It's a good cup of coffee. Aaron says it's a peach. It's a peach. A peach, not a cigarette. Fab Daddy says, I puked a few times doing the beer bongs. I was learning. Yep, you just got to open your throat and hope for the best, man. That's all you can do. Let it fly out. And Victor says, hello, ladies. Sorry if I missed anyone. I'm kind of preoccupied, but I'm listening. That's all right, Victor. Well, I'm glad you're here, buddy. Batshit says, hi, Linda Davis and hosts. Nice to see you, Batshit. And Rachel says, how is everyone? Fantastic, Rachel. How are you tonight? I couldn't be happier if I was a pig in slop. And Linda says, peach. And Aaron says, Linda is bad. Linda says, hey, Rachel. And Sue says, I'm in a really good mood tonight. I'm not sure why, but I am. Lady B says, what are you doing, Victor? Eating supper? That or working. Fab Daddy says, Aaron, you're bad. Bad to the bone. Badass to the bad bone. That's right. And Aaron says, thank you. And I'm a teddy bear. A teddy bear with a long rifle. Kevin says, sorry, folks. I'm calling it an early night. I hear you, Kevin. I love you, buddy. Thank you for being here. It is that Wednesday night bliss. I know how you feel. I'm going to go to bed early tonight, too, I think. And Victor says, no, ma'am. I'm doing renovations in our spare bedroom. I wish I had the energy to do that, Victor. I got to do some of that myself. Every time I get home, I see it, and I'm just like, yeah, that'll be another day. Kevin says, good night, everyone. Kevin, God bless you, my friend. Thank you for being here, and good night. Fab Daddy says, Ted the teddy bear was an ass. Well, he had one. Amanda says, it's all good, Kevin. Good night, man. Feel better. And Linda says, good night, Kevin. Aaron says, see you, Kevin. And Sue says, I often feel like I'm more British than American. Wow. In my character and interests. So maybe Nugget, I could switch places. Maybe Nugget and I could switch places. He might like it where he's at. Aaron says, yes, he was. Ted was. Patty says, good night, Mr. Kevin. And Rachel says, good night, peace. Are you saying good night to Kevin or are you saying good night to us? If so, good night. We love you. Amanda says, good night, Rachel. And Fab Daddy says, good night, Rachel. Lady B says, Victor, great time to do that with cooler weather. Yes, if you're going to do renovations, cooler weather is where it's at. The spiders are gone, and you don't get too hot. And Lady B, Aaron says, better than being a teddy bear's ass. Well, that wouldn't be bad at all. That'd just be fuzzy. Fuzzy and cottony. Unless he's in the woods, and then you'd have to ask a rabbit. So I heard. Fab Daddy says the stuffing got to be inserted somewhere. Patty says, I do as well, Miss Sue. I just can't understand what draws me there in that way. I don't know. Big John says, I'm on the way to Britain. Yep, he's in France right now. Italy and France. Fab Daddy says, I never went to Build-A-Bear. I didn't either. I didn't even know about Build-A-Bear till it was already over with. Batshit says, our Pepsi machine had mostly beers. One column had a grab bag of soda mix. That's one way to use a Pepsi machine. But what do you do if you want a Pepsi? Sue says, Ireland is above England. Italy is below France. France is to the east of England, separated by the English Channel. Fab Daddy says, LOL, that's awesome. Big John says, Britain, then France, then Italy. Italy looks like a boot. I knew that part. Fab Daddy says, Portugal is south and west of France. South and west? Did you know that if you were standing at the North Pole, every direction is south? Patty says, Norm passed away a while ago. We talking about, Bent. What was his first name? Something Bent.
The guy you referenced earlier.
Now I know who she's talking about. Norm from Cheers. I can't remember his name, though. I'm trying to think of his name. Something Bent. I thought he died a long time ago. Aaron says, Fab, they put it in their back. The stuffing in a teddy bear, yeah, and then zip it back up. I saw something a couple weeks ago that blew my mind. I was scrolling through YouTube looking for something to watch, and I came across Club Random with
Rich and Mike?
No, the atheist guy I listen to all the time. Shit, I can't think of his name. Anyway, Bill Maher. Anyway, he had Barbara Eden on, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I thought it was a joke, so I went and watched. It was Barbara Eden. She's like 98 years old. I thought she died 20 years ago. You know, I Dream of Jeannie. I thought Barbara Eden died in the 80s. I haven't heard or seen anything from her since I Dream of Jeannie. Not a thing. Apparently she's been in a few movies, but I didn't know that. Did you know that? Did you know that Barbara Eden was still alive? I didn't. It was a shock, because I've spent this whole time thinking she was gone.
George Wendt.
George Wendt. That's his name.
Wind it.
Went. The N is silent, or the D is silent. Went. Yeah, George Went. That's who played Norm. Fab Daddy says Spain is due south. D-U-E south. Victor says, yes, ma'am, Lady B. Trying to get things done before I leave again. I hear you, buddy. Batshit said Ireland is west of Scotland. I knew that. Lady B says, I have heard the young girls flush tampons. So lazy they can't wrap it in TP and put it in a garbage can. Awful. Yep, that's awful. And also random.
That was talking about Amy's poop.
Oh. Yeah,
earlier.
That makes sense. Fab Daddy says geography and knowing the world is cool, but not needed for MAGA. Are you trying to insult me, Fab Daddy? As I said right up front, I wasn't sure, and I'm all right with that. I also know a lot about other places in their geography. I just don't happen to know a lot about that portion of the world. Is that all right with you? What does MAGA have to do with geography? Not a thing. You're really grasping at straws if you're trying to make some kind of correlation there. Big John says, Sue, Ireland is next to England, Scotland higher than England. And Sue says, now, who knows what countries are a part of the UK? Amy says, bleh. Are you having a hard time getting that clean, Amy? Get a pressure washer and a face mask and go to town. And Lady B says, I hope it goes good, Victor. Fab Daddy says, Wales, Ireland, England, and Scotland. I, too, can use Google. And Victor says, thank you, ma'am. It's going to be a little art studio for Mabel. And she loves painting and photography. Oh, that's nice. You can build her a little studio. That's fantastic. Lady B says, Amy Lamau. Nice, Victor. Sue says, Nugget, right. Had to go check a map, and England goes further north than I thought. Patty says, Fab Daddy, are you from across the pond? I don't think so. Sue says, Fab Daddy, close. It's only part of Ireland. Big John says, Amy, use some cling film and get them back. Some saran wrap. That's what we call it, saran wrap. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cling film. I like that. Harder to say, though. Fab Daddy says, so what's the answer? I didn't Google. I don't know. It's not my thing. Aaron says, a peach. Fab Daddy says, I got a B in college geography. Congratulations.
Aaron sure does have a peach stuck on his brain tonight, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Poor Aaron.
I feel you, brother. Linda says, Fab is from California. He's our resident liberal that we love.
That's hilarious, Linda.
Sue Wood says, it's only Northern Ireland. The Republic of Ireland isn't. Isn't what? Fab Daddy says, hey, Amanda. Where's my honey? Hold on, my chat jumped.
No. Fab Daddy said, hey, Amanda, if I share my honey buns, can I get a cup of Joe? 9:13.
Yeah, if you got some honey buns, pony up, buddy.
Bro.
Lady B says, you like liberals, Linda? Only ours. And Fab Daddy says, liberal? Come on now, Linda. Aaron says, do you, Lady B? Sue says, what's wrong with liberals? Okay.
LOL. Sure, Fab.
Lady B says, people are people. Linda says, I like Fab, and yes, I do have friends that are liberals. And Fab Daddy says, I got the little Debbie snacks. I took a peek at her booze. Right? Little Debbie. Aaron says, people are people. That's genetically correct. Yes, it is.
Logical.
Eminently logical, Captain. Lady B says, do you, Aaron? Aaron says, people are people. Good answer. Lady B says, Aaron. Aaron says, that's my name. And Debbie says, I remember doing the limbo on roller skates. Good gracious. I would kill myself. I've never been able to roller skate. That is not my thing at all. I tried it when I was a kid, and I never did take to it. A couple of busted asses, and I was like, yep, I'm done. I'll go over there and smoke cigarettes with the cool kids. And then I discovered ladies. Never had to skate again. Patty says, does anyone remember Flip Wilson's character, Geraldine? I think when she talks about Killer, her boyfriend reminds me of Miss Piggy and Kermit. Anybody? Kinda. That might be where the inspiration of that relationship came from. It's based on something. And Sue says, Aaron. And Aaron says, Sue. And Aaron says, Debbie, they still do the roller skates. I haven't seen a skating rink in forever. Do they still do that?
Yes.
It used to be all the rage. I mean, they were everywhere. Had commercials on TV and everything. I hadn't seen one in years. I hadn't seen a drive-in in years either. I do know there's one or two of those still around, but it's basically a novelty. Fab Daddy says, I prefer Madison, but Little Debbie's is cheap and good enough to taste. I don't know if I know what a Madison is. I like Little Debbie snacks, though. But I'm kind of peculiar. I like the oatmeal cream pies, and I like the nutty bars, and that's pretty much it. Every now and then I'll get like a one of those coffee cakes. That's pretty good, but I'm not sure if that's Little Debbie or not. I'm very particular on sweets. I don't like just anything. I like honey buns every once in a while. But I kind of like the dollar store honey buns better than the Little Debbie's. The Little Debbie's are kind of greasy to me. And they're small. I like the big ones you get at the dollar store. Every now and then they'll get one that's got Boston cream in it, Bavarian cream or whatever you call it, and a chocolate topping. That's a pretty good honey bun. And Sue says, smiley, smiley, smiley. And Patty says, those Little Debbies are made 25 miles from me. Yep, they sure are. Aaron says, LOL, Jake at Piggly Wiggly, but not the store. Right. Lady B says, Aaron, I don't judge. I'm from a different generation. We're too busy working 50 to 60 hours a week to have time to deal with some of the nonsense going on now. Work, farmed, raised a family, etc. Well, that's cool. I do, however, judge. And I'm a little fed up with the left side of things at the moment. But power to you if you can stay neutral. That's a good place to be. I can't. I tried to stay neutral. I tried to stay out of it, but sometimes you got to put your foot down. And that's where we're at. And Sue says, like this trim, folks. I think what she means is hit that like button. Thumbs up, everybody. Which they're doing quite good at. We got 16. And there's only 17 people. So that's something. Cowboy says, watching commercials to get you some pennies, Jake. Thank you very much, ma'am. I appreciate that. I do appreciate it. Aaron says, okay, Lady B. And Fab Daddy says, I went swimming yesterday. Nice. It was awesome. I wish I could share that place with all of you. Thank you, Fab Daddy. That's beautiful. And swimming actually sounds kind of fun. I'm glad you had a good time. I haven't been swimming in forever. And the last time I did go swimming, it was right in the creek. And I don't do the pool thing so much.
You got too many trees for a pool.
Oh, here? Oh,
Yes.
no. It wouldn't work at all here. We'd have to have a canopy or something to have a pool.
So I'm saying we got too many trees for a pool.
And Lady B says, I do that too, cowboy. It helps Jake. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. All the help I can get. It is a tight month this month, so if y'all guys want to do a super chat or something, I appreciate that too. But watch the ads. That's perfectly fine. And Linda Davis says, that game was fun if you played with your eyes closed, right? Sometimes. Sometimes you want to peek, though. See what's happening. Sue says, it's getting too cold here to swim. Lady B says, sounds nice, Fab. Bill Bennett says, I was the tetherball champ, and I loved it. See, I knew you knew what tethered meant. So just do the opposite of that, and that's what we are. We are untied. The context of the word untethered is to do with religion. Primarily, this is a Bible study channel. We do hang out and other things, politics and whatever, during the week. But on Sunday and Monday, we try to be pretty serious and do Bible study proper. And the word untethered is based on religions. Because the one thing I don't want to do is be denominational. I don't want to follow in the traditions of man of any kind. I want to follow what the Bible says. And so in order to do that, you have to untie yourself from people's way of thinking and try to understand God's way of thinking. So hence the word untethered. Hope that helps. And Lady B says, hey, Bill. Aaron says, which game, Linda?
Me too, Bill. That was a fun-ass game.
What game are we talking about?
Tetherball.
Aaron wants to know.
Tetherball.
Tetherball is fun with your eyes closed. Yeah, because you never know when you're going to get brained with that ball. And if it goes around sideways, you might get the little metal hook that's on the top of the ball that holds it right in the eye. That's when you know you had a good time. Fab Daddy says, clean mountain water. Kind of cold, snow runoff. Oh, yeah. And see, I own some property in Florida where they used to film the old Johnny Weissmuller Tarzan movies. You know what I'm talking about? There's a place called Ichetuckney Springs. The water comes right out of the center of the earth there. You can put a six-pack in the water, and in an hour it'll be frozen solid. Cold, 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 unnaturally cold water. It's ice blue. You can see all the way to the bottom. You see the fish moving around. It's probably the prettiest place I've ever seen. One of the prettiest places I've ever seen. But it's very difficult to swim in that water. You got to really work at it. You got to want it bad. Once you're in there, though, you're fine. But you got to get that body temperature down, buddy. Best thing in the world on a hot summer day, though. And Lady B says, we feel good. Na-na-na-na-na-na. I knew that I would now. And we knew that you would. Sue says, I felt like shit until I shit. Congratulations. Fab Daddy says, screenshot, LOL. This face. That'll give you chills. Give you something to feel good about anyway. Big John says, one of my friends said to me it's snowing in Manchester, England at the moment. Really? That's interesting. Might want to go make a snowman. Amy says, thanks for the prayers, y'all. Ladina has been released from the hospital. I knew that she would be. God is good all the time. And tell Ladina we said hello and welcome home. And Lady B says, Sue. Smiley, smiley. Linda says, tetherball. You have someone hit the ball and see how many kids get smoked with the ball. Right on. Everybody eyes closed. I got it. Lady B says, prayers, Amy. Amanda?
Great, Amy. Tell her we said hi and get well and we miss her.
Amen. Cowboys 8 Pound says, good bumps. Good goosebumps. Aaron says, I never played that. Tetherball? It's a way to keep kids busy and still at the same time. Put a couple of tires out there and fill them up with concrete. Stick a pole up in the center of it. The tire wobble around like that with the pole. And then up at the top, tie a rope to it. And then tie a ball to the end of the rope. And you got a tether ball. And you can jump up and swing around in that thing. And the concrete wheel will hold it to the ground. And you can spin all the way around or flip over it. That's what we did with it. But you're supposed to play the ball game, which is I hit the ball that way and you try to hit it back this way, and whoever wraps it up around the pole wins. It's a stupid game, like I said. Lady B says, Linda, did you play dodgeball? I love that. Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure I still have an imprint of that rubber red ball that they used for dodgeball on my forehead. The waffle print. That's a hard ball. Taught me how to duck, though. Sue says, snow already, Nugget? Wow. Patty says, Miss Amy, I hope your friend is well and overcomes this health crisis. Amen to that, Patty. Thank you. And Linda says, heck yeah, Fab, we're old. Yes, we are. And sorry, I meant Lady B. Heck yeah, Lady B, we're old, says Linda. And Fab says, Red River. Red River, Red River. Cut out her liver. Red Rover, bend over, Dover. Lady B says, I have started pre-vegan, Jake. You know anybody taking it? Prevegan. I don't know what that is. I'll look it up, though. Jamie? I'll look into it, Lady B, see what it is. Prevegan. Prevagen. Or any similar spelling. Fab Daddy says, Red Rover. That sounds more like it. Linda says, do you mean Red Rover, Fab? Duck, duck, goose. I don't have a clue what those games are. I know of them, but I've never played them because I'm cool.
It's a supplement for your brain.
What does it do? Give me some details.
I'm trying to pull it up.
I take supplements for my brain, too. In fact, I'm fixing to take one right now.
It's something originally discovered in a jellyfish. It's a unique ingredient that is only found in Prevegan and is now produced in a controlled scientific process.
What is the ingredient?
APOAEQURIN.
Apriquin. And what is it for?
Brain.
Can you be more specific? There's a lot of things in the brain.
That's all it says is brain.
Does it raise serotonin? Does it increase dopamine? Does it cause freer radicals to move around? Does it cause better connectivity between, brain cells firing?
It just doesn't give any specific details.
Go to a different site.
I'm reading about the pills, about the medicine.
We'll read it out loud so we can hear it.
I'm not reading all of this out loud. It's too long.
Linda says, how about 7-Up, Fab? I know Word Up. I don't know 7-Up. Lady B says, yeah, Fab. And Aaron says, I like red hands because I'm fast. Are you talking about the game? Yeah, I'm fast too. Fab Daddy says, no 7-Up for me. Flashlight tag. Aaron says, they did 7-Up every power out or tornado drill. Right on. Big Nugget says, Jake, you can buy a cow for that in Britain. Thumbs up, right? I don't know what that context is in reference to.
The $41 steaks.
Oh, the steak, yeah. Yeah, that's ridiculous for 2 steaks. I was like, there's no way. I can't believe anybody would ever buy that. You vote with your dollar. You see things that are that expensive, just put it down. Don't buy it. They'll have no choice but to change that price tag at some point. Cowboy says 2 steaks, not tube steaks. Right.
It regulates the calcium in the brain.
All right, that makes sense. All right, well, what that will do, if you regulate calcium, that will increase blood flow, and therefore oxygen will get in your brain better because of more blood flow, because calcium constricts blood by depositing in the corpuscles and in the veins. Makes it like a clogged up drain, makes the hole smaller. So that might be a good thing. I don't see where there's any harm in you taking that, Lady B. Linda Davis says, yeah, Aaron, we called it slap hands, right? What is that called?
Too slow?
Slap. That's what we called it, slap. Lady B says, we are in our prime, Linda. Not old yet, ℂ𝕗𝕣𝕗. No, speak for yourself. I'm old. Patty says, sirloin roast at Walmart, $23. Yeah, we got some steak from Walmart at a reasonable price. That was at Food Lion. They had to be 6 or 7 ounces. They couldn't have been a 9-ounce or a 10-ounce steak. It was a pretty small. You know the packages that steak come in? It was 2 in one package, side by side. So whatever size that was. $41. No way. Somebody's joking here. Somebody mistyped that label or something. There's no way that $21 I could see. 41? What am I paying for? Aaron says 4 square. Fab Daddy says, I call it patty cakes, right? Get in their head and make them think twice. Amanda said, I got a gallon of milk for 97 cents at Walmart. That's what I'm talking about right there. Go Trump. Linda Davis says, manhunt, Fab. Hide and seek, same thing. Aaron says, Patty, I saw that. I was like, nope, at Walmart. They're crazy. Right on. Patty says, there's sleep and there is restorative sleep. Yes, there is a difference. Fab Daddy says, anyone ever have jacks? I was talking about that earlier. That's just an excuse to stick something in your toe.
Then yes, Fab Daddy, I did.
I think the Germans made jacks just to cause people to step on something in the middle of the night, aggravate us. Like the Chinese invented flathead screws just to piss people off. There's no other reason for those things to exist. Just a bunch of busted knuckles. They're going to take over the world one busted knuckle at a time. It's a very slow way to win a war, but they're working on it. Patty says, Jack's just opened here. You must be talking about something else. I'm talking about the game Jacks with the bouncy ball and the spiky little barbed wire fence tops. Aaron says, what's the game with the basketball and you flip the bottle cap? I don't know. I think I know. I think I've seen what you're talking about, but I don't know what the game is called. Cowboy says, yes, Fab. Lady B says, make sure you cook pork very done. The worms can go to your brain and your intestines. My neurologist said pork or swine is the worst thing on your brain. I stopped eating it 2 years ago. Yeah, you have to cook pork. Well done. Correct. Because it has trichinosis. That's what you're talking about. Trichinosis is a little parasite that can burrow into your brain or into your intestines and cause you lots and lots of problems. And you may have it for a long time and not even know you have it. Problem is if you don't figure out you've got it, it can cause permanent damage. Sue says, I made that up. All right. Fab Daddy says, marbles and Green Army Men were my favorites. Green Army Men, I did that. I had those when I was a kid. The ones with the little platform at the bottom. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I got one around here somewhere right now. It's in my guitar case. It was given to me as a birthday present by a fellow musician that understood. Fab Daddy and I are the only people in here that would get that joke, but it's a real thing. Lady B says, come on, Patty. I have a guest room ready. Right on. Aaron says, facts, Fab. Well, maybe Aaron gets it too. Debbie says, 3 lengths of your thumb is all I'm saying about that. You know that's right. You see that chicken leg? It's power. You ever been assaulted by a chicken leg? Aaron says, I had the bolos and would crack people marbles. Ah. Crack people marbles. Are you talking about a bolo like a bolo tie or a bolo like a... one of those things?
He's talking about a big bolo. Cracking marbles.
I know how to play marbles. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I don't think so.
I don't understand.
Talking about cracking people with a bolo whip.
Ah. Well, a bolo isn't a whip. It's a weapon. You throw with it.
Is it not called a whip?
No. A whip is a... A bolo is a... Make sense? All right. Fab Daddy says, I called them knockers. Well. Patty says, Lady B, are you inviting me to Alabama? I think she was. Aaron says, remember the steel one? I don't. Fab Daddy says, or the steeliest? Aaron says, yep, Steelies. Yeah, I don't know what you guys are talking about. That's something I ain't
Steelies are the shoes, isn't it?
I have no idea.
No, those are wheelies. No, those are Steelies.
You remember a long time ago when I said I have no idea what you guys are talking about? Back then?
You still have no idea.
I still have no idea. Big John says, you're not supposed to take pills when pregnant or drink. True. But apparently now they have drawn a correlation between acetaminophen and autism. So they're instructing pregnant women to not take Tylenol unless they absolutely have to, because it might hurt your baby. They don't know for sure yet. This is a preliminary study. It's not settled. It's just a thing that they've drawn a correlation to. And because Trump went out and told everybody, they're all attacking him over it. Like he's the one that decided to take Tylenol away from pregnant women. It's retarded. People's brains are broken. They don't know how to think anymore. Aaron says, I gave mine to my son and he still has them. And Sue says, when pregnant women take Tylenol, their child is more likely to be autistic. A lot of people took Trump's statement to incorrectly mean Tylenol causes autism. Yeah, a lot of them took his statement thinking that it was his statement. It wasn't. He was just delivering the news like a president is supposed to. It was the FDA or whoever does that. It was their statement. Patty says, Alabama's very close to me, Lady B. And Lady B says, thank you, Amanda. Good idea, front seat. Thank you, Jake. Financially, I am good. It's just scary when I don't feel in control some days. I hear you. I understand that. Just understand that with age comes problems, and that's going to happen. But you've got to take a breath and understand that you're still very much in control. Just occasionally something slips your mind. That's okay. There's nothing to be scared of. Just take it in stride and get you some CoQ10 and some ginkgo biloba, and that'll help you remember things a little better. Okay? Don't be scared, though. You got this. Be strong. And Fab Daddy says, I don't tell anyone what to do with their lives except my child. Truth. I hear you. Random, but I hear you. Lady B says, play a song. Yeah, you got it. This is just for you.
Skies and fireworks, people laugh, people flirt all night long. But I just stay. So I drove down to the local bar where people come in their fancy cars to play their games. But I just stare. Then I saw you sitting there, all alone in that empty chair right next to you. I fell in love. Oh, baby. Just one kiss, I don't care what you say. I fell in love with you anyway. Oh, Elizabeth, you take my breath away. At that bar where we first met, you smiled at me and my palms got wet and you just looked away. But I just stayed. said, been in love and it never works. I always end up getting hurt, and I ain't doing that no more. There ain't no way. Oh, no, 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 no. You stood up to say goodbye, grabbed your hand with a tear in my eye, and I just walked away. But you just stayed. But you looked down and you took my hand and said, boy, I hope you understand that I'm not a girl that needs a man. I got my life and all my plans, and if you were there, you'd just be in my way. Girl, it ain't gotta be like this. I'd give you everything but just one kiss, and I don't care what you say. I fell in love with you anyway. Oh, Elizabeth, you take my breath away.
Alrighty then. That's just for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that very much. Fab Daddy says being boss is tough. Well, it is if you're not any good at it. But if you're good at it, it's fun. It's good to be the king. Remember that.
You're welcome, Lady Hun.
Lady B says, Patty, where are you? She's right there. Lady B says, you told me a few weeks ago. I'll give you a hint. Please come to Boston for the springtime. Staying here with some friends and they've got lots of room. You can sell your paintings on the sidewalk. Buy a cafe where I hope to be working soon. Please come to Boston. She said, no, babe, you come home to me. She said, hey, rambling boy, why don't you settle down? Boston ain't your kind of town. Ain't no gold and there ain't nobody like me. I'm a #1 fan of a man from Tennessee. How about that? Cowboy says, you have a nice voice, Amanda. Don't you?
Thank you, Cowboys.
Lady B says, the support and love I have on here is so wonderful. I feel loved. You should, because we love you. And you have it. That's what families are for, and we're trying to build one here, and you're part of it. So I hope you do enjoy it, Lady B, because we love having you. And Linda says, there are a bunch of great people here, Lady B. Aaron says, like Jake. Thank you, Aaron. Like Lady B, like Aaron. Aaron's a hell of a guy. Patty says, I do understand how you feel, but I do know I just do the job I have to the best of my ability, and it keeps my mindset strong and occupied, so I do not ruminate on mindless entertainment. I hear you. Well, that's all you can do, right? Just keep busy. I try to do that too. I drown my thoughts in work, because if I have time to think, my mind will go to places that I don't want to go. And Lady B says, I took Tylenol with my son, not a lot, but when I had a headache, aspirin was never advised. My son was healthy. I ate a lot of cabbage and collards, 1 mason jar a day. Wow. No one is suggesting that Tylenol causes autism. There's just a link between higher doses of acetaminophen and autism, which means it could be a correlation of something that contributes to causing it. Doesn't mean that everybody that takes it will get autism immediately, but it doesn't mean that you won't. You might have got lucky. Sue says, bing bong bong bing bong. Who gets that reference? Well, it's a Trump reference, obviously. Or it's a Nat King Cole reference, one or the other. He was referencing Nat King Cole. Lady B says, as a majority, yes, I agree, Linda. Hmm.
9:39.
I know, but I'm trying to figure out what that meant.
What?
Oh, a bunch of great people. As a majority, I agree. Got it. Smiley, smiley. Patty says, I am right out of Chattanooga, Lady B. Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Top of Lookout Mountain.
Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee. It gets hotter than a hoochie coochie. We laid rubber on the Georgia asphalt. Got a little crazy, but we never got caught. That's it. I've been copyright claimed. Fab Daddy says, my best friend's mom smoked weed during her pregnancy with him. And yep, he has an excuse for being a dumbass. LOL. I hear you. Well, all things when you're pregnant contribute to what happens to the child, because you're sharing the same immune system and the same blood system and the same digestive tract and everything. So everything you intake affects the child. Whether it has long-lasting effects or not is a roll of the dice. But if there's a possibility that it contributes to the markers that cause autism, you don't want to do it. It's that simple. So in that case, follow the recommendations of the people who make the drugs. Tylenol themselves have come out and said, yeah, we don't recommend that you take Tylenol when you're pregnant, so don't do that. And Lady B says, good ideas, Patty. Fab Daddy says, sad part is he is smarter than me. Well, at least you can admit that. That's something. There's no such thing as dumb people. Only people that don't know where they stand. And Sue says, what's the 8-ball prompt? I can't remember what it is. It is ! 8-ball. Lady B says, Patty, we could have a trip. Have you been to Chattanooga bypass yet? And Debbie says, Lady B, the study on Tylenol wasn't just about taking it while pregnant. It was about giving to babies after their shots. Something in Tylenol does not agree with the ingredients in vaccines. Could be that too. I didn't listen to it. I'm just responding to what everybody has been saying. Could be that too. Linda Davis says, Fab, that's because you never stopped smoking weed. And also, you've only been listening to me for a short while. You stick around here, I'll make you smart. Lady B says, good night, Kev. And Debbie says, and when the Tylenol interacts with vaccines, it causes trouble in the brain. Right on. And Big John says, I watched Facebook, and they deported 4 migrants yesterday to France and gave them 2,000 pounds or euros, and 3 of them came back to Britain, and Starmer got it wrong. That happens. We've been dealing with a lot of that in this country, too. And Fab Daddy says, I started at age 15 and took 3 years off, 18 to 21. My brain was damaged more from other things. But heck, I only need 1 cell to fire for a good time. Well, I mean, it all depends on what you want to do with your brain there, Fab Daddy. Some people don't want to be intellects. That's quite all right. Takes all kinds to make the world go round. If you want to use your brain, if you want to be an intellect, if you want to have conversations and philosophize and theorize and, bloviate, then you got to take care of your brain. You got to do things that are good for it and allow it to grow. Fill it full of the good stuff and watch what goes in there. If you just want to have a good time, you don't need so much brain power. It's quite all right. Patty says, Jeremiah 29 says, for I know the plan I have for you. I am where I am because I was needed, and I will do what I have to do where I am, which is helping my son regain his health after a bike crash. That's right, Patty. You do what you feel you're led to do. And I've been in one of those bike crashes, and I needed somebody and didn't have it, so thank God your son has you.
That was no fault of my own.
What are you talking about?
You needed the help and didn't have it.
Oh, yeah. Well, it actually was your fault.
It was not.
You want to go back?
It wasn't my fault.
Okay.
We were not together yet when you crashed your bike.
Yeah, but we were together before I crashed my bike.
Well, yeah, years ago.
Mm-hmm. And had not things transpired the way they transpired, where would you have been?
You're right.
I usually am. Lady B says, love you all. I'm not leaving. I won't type anymore. Listen to Jake. Don't forget how much I love y'all. Hanging in the corner quietly. Well, you can type all you want, but I love you too.
She's not hanging in the corner quietly either. Everybody tries that. They try to go to bed early, and they try not to talk, and they try to do this, and it doesn't work.
You know why?
Because we're too good of a time.
This is a great time. Nobody's having more fun than we are. This is a fantastic set of conversations we're having here, and everybody is intrigued and wants to hear more because we're interesting people. That's what we put together here, a group of interesting people with great ideas and stories, and they're fun to listen to. Amen. And I love you too, Lady B. Sue says, Nugget, I heard France doesn't want them. Who's them?
The ICE
migrants?
People. Yeah.
Or the people that are arresting the migrants?
The ones that Trump sent back to France.
Interesting. Linda Davis says, Fab, smiley, smiley. April Raines here. She says, hey, everyone, good to see you. Smiley, smiley. Hey, April.
Hi, April.
Fab Daddy says, hey, April. Linda says, hey, April. Lady B says, Fab, smiley, 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 smiley. April says, hi, Amanda, Jake, Fab Daddy, Linda, Sue, and Hun. And hugs to all. And Lady B says, hey, sweet April. April says, what's up tonight? You see it? Not much of nothing. Cowboy says, hi, April. April says, hi, Lady B, good to see you. Patty says, Miss April, peace. April says, Cowboys, hugs, good to see you, heart. Debbie says, George went. Norm, that's the guy. I couldn't think of his name. I thought he died a long time ago, like in 2005 or something. I guess I was wrong. April says, Patty, good to see you, hugs to you. Big John says, hi, April, heart. And Sue says, well, what I like about England is their beautiful nature and history. I also like how people are there, that it's safer, and they have better health care, and there's a higher life expectancy, but April says, hi, Debbie and John, good to see you. And Patty says, yes, Sue. April says, oh, wow, really? And Fab Daddy says, old political incorrect. Huh? Old political incorrect. What are you saying, Fab Daddy? April says, no, wait. I don't understand what you're talking about, Fab. Let me know. Patty says, good for Barbara. Right? I had no idea she was still alive. It freaked me out because I loved I Dream of Jeannie back when I was a kid. That's one of the first things I remember watching. Da-da, bum-ba-da-da, ba-da, bum-ba-ba-da-da, ba-da, bum-ba-ba-da-da, ba-da-ba-ba-da. Yeah. I love that show. It's the best midriff on TV. Right next to Uhura. Anyway, Sue says AC isn't as common there. What's AC? They don't have as many rights. It rains a lot and is colder overall. They don't have as many food products either. What is AC?
Air conditioning?
That's what I thought. I don't think that's what she meant. Patty says, I don't have Facebook, but I snoop on my son's computer and saw it last night. What'd you think? Did you like it? And Sue says, I also like all the old and outdated traditions. Might seem crazy and unnecessary to some, but I like it. I'm glad you enjoy it. Patty says, about Norm. Oh, you saw that about Norm. Gotcha. Well, that's terrible. I hate that he died. I thought that he was already dead, but he got a few more years. If it had been up to me, he'd have been dead a long time ago, so thank God he stuck around. April says, I find Ireland and Scotland places interesting. And Patty says, I do too, Miss April. April says, can you fly there to Ireland and Scotland, or do you have to take it by boat? No, you can fly there. My chat jumped. Hang on. Where am I at?
9:51, and George died in May of 2025.
2025. I thought it was like 2020 or something.
No.
Or 2015 or 2005. I don't remember when it was.
And just an FYI, you're an hour behind in chat.
Yeah, I understand that. What'd you say the number was again?
9:51.
51. Nah, I found it. Patty says, fly, Miss April.
LOL, April. You can fly there.
Amy says, hi, April. And April says, hi, Amy. Good to see you, lovely. Smiley face. Amy says, you can fly, but your arms might get tired. April says, Lamau. Sue says, Amy. Smiley, smiley. Monkey Juice says, don't take Tylenol, people. You might get autism. That's not what this study says, Monkey Juice. If you're going to tell news, tell it right. Unbelievable that that's what you're thinking about after everything that's happened this week. Take a step back, buddy. Look around. Patty says, Little Debbie is an actual person from here. I would imagine so. Most companies are named after somebody. Like Wendy, who's an amalgamation of a couple of people, but still. April says, that was a dumb question. I'm such a dork. Yeah, but you're our dork and we love you.
Hi, monkey. If you're pregnant.
And Big John says, April, you can fly to both Ireland and England. If you stand on the shore, you can see Ireland from Scotland. It's only about 25 miles distance. Yeah, it's not very far. They used to call them the same island. Amy says, do you think people will get reparations for being censored for truthful posts. No. No, I don't. I think they'll keep censoring people. I think for a little while they won't censor you, but then they will again. But reparations? No. No, they're not going to get... There's no justice. You just keep rolling. Try not to get put in jail. Monkey Juice says, we need to do an investigation on the escalator that didn't work at the UN. No, we don't. We know exactly what happened. Why would you feel like you needed to do an investigation on that? Don't you know what happened? I know what happened, and I wasn't even there.
LOL, April. I rolled on the floor laughing so hard when I read that comment.
I didn't hear you rolling on the floor. Why you lying to people?
You was talking still.
Man, you were rolling on the floor. How did you do that? There's not even room on that floor for you to roll.
I was rolling on the bed.
That's not the floor. Liar.
Close enough.
I'm just messing with you.
It's close enough.
I'm pulling the monkey juice.
Uh-huh.
Fab Daddy says, April, don't ever call yourself a whale penis. It's unbecoming. Dork. I'm a dork fish. Amy says, 3 times a day, I'm fine. Right on. April says, ha. Now I feel really stupid. Thanks, Fab Daddy. LOL, good Lord. Fab Daddy says, Amy, I want cyber freedom. Have it. Amy says, I take 650 milligrams times 2, 3 times a day. But when your liver quits, you'll wish you didn't do that. I bet you have a fatty liver. I know I do, and I take a bunch of goody powders. For the same reason. I wonder if I stopped taking Tylenol, would my ability to remember things improve? I don't know. I don't think it would, though. Because I don't think that's exactly what the study's about. I think it's more in-depth than that. And for all of you liberal-minded folks out there, Trump is not telling people that it's their fault that their children are autistic because they took Tylenol. That's not what he's doing. First of all, it's not his study or his statement. He's just the president of the United States whose job it is to inform the people about things that are learned by his administration. And the FDA or the CDC or whoever it was that did that study found a correlation between pregnant people and their born children and the levels of acetaminophen in their blood versus autism. There is a correlation. It's not a complete study. There's more that needs to be done. They're just looking into it now, but that's the track they're on, and he was warning everybody. So right now, the word is, if you don't need Tylenol, don't take it unless you absolutely have to, if you're pregnant. Which is actually a very smart thing to say. Why everybody's trying to make it sound like Trump's doing a bad thing is beyond me. April says, I got to look that up in the dictionary now, Fab Daddy. A dork? D-O-R-K. You could Google it. And Amy says, Tylenol. Fab Daddy says, everything is bullshit. That's the only truth I find. Well, you're not wrong. I was discussing that last night about some things that have caught my attention about the narratives that are going on in the news today. There's some interesting stuff afoot. Remains to be seen how it's going to shake out, though. Sue says, where would you go for a good time? Bed. That's where I would go for a good time.
Ooh, come on.
April says, I believe you, Fab Daddy, LOL.
I'll give you a good time.
Better leave me the hell alone. Let me go to sleep.
Go to sleep. I don't need you to be awake. I'm quite capable of handling what I need to handle. You would sleep.
Okay. Long as it's all right.
Go to sleep.
Patty says, Sue at home, right? Amy says, everything is bullshit. Yeah, I'm the first one to say that, Fab Daddy. Not breaking any new ground there. Monkey Juice says, Amy, be careful. Tylenol has only been around for 50 years. What's your point? So is cyanide. What's your point? What are you trying to say there, Monkey Juice? Have you read the label of your Tylenol bottle lately? Do you know that by taking Tylenol, you increase the chances of liver damage by about 50%? Did you know that? That's just a regular person taking Tylenol. It could actually kill your liver. And if you have any liver issues, it will increase the damage of that liver issue. There is one piece of medicine that if you take it and you take Tylenol with it, you die if anything happens to you during that time. House did a show about it. Like if you get in a car wreck while you're on these two different medicines, your body literally can't stop yourself from just bleeding out. I don't know all the details, but my point is Tylenol is a very dangerous drug. It always has been. It always will be. It's actually very good for breaking a headache and breaking a fever. And it's about the thing that I would recommend if a child has a high fever, Tylenol will knock it out like that. Again, if you're pregnant, there's a lot of things you probably shouldn't be putting in your body. Tylenol is now one of them. 50 years in existence or not. Amy says, I'm Uggy. Sue says, everything is awesome. That's one way to look at it. Amy says, too much Tylenol will hurt your kidneys and liver. My nurse practitioner told me not to overdo it. Exactly. Just me taking 4 goodie powders a day is actually too much. The recommended dose is 2 goodie powders in a 24-hour period. And Fab Daddy says, my religion requires faith. Faith can never be seen as BS. It's the very first right in the Bill of Rights. Well, I never called faith bullshit. I called everything bullshit. Faith is just in there. And there is some faith that's bullshit. Mine isn't, because mine is based on the source material. Anybody that isn't, their faith is bullshit. April says, hi, Monkey. Good to see you. Patty says, American way. The American way. Feed it to them 50 years and then tell them it's not good for you, right? Exactly. Yeah, this idea that the science, that always cracks me up because they like to lean on the authority. And they've been screwing you this whole time, and you're just now hearing about it, let alone figuring it out. There's a reason Big Pharma has money in everything. Amy says they used to tell pregnant women to smoke, too. So there's that, right? Yeah, remember when doctors would recommend Winston's because they were smoother than Camels? That was the thing. Patty says, I've never taken Tylenol. Good. You don't need to if you hadn't done it yet. April says, Patty, that's making it real. Amy says, remember the Tylenol poisoning scare in the 80s? I do. When social constructs make laws on drugs, they hinder freedom, says Fab Day. What are you talking about? What do you mean by social construct? You mean the FDA, which its job is to recommend medicines or recommend you don't take certain medicines? Whose job it is to run studies and double blinds and placebo tests and find out what's up with medicines, which they have been lacking in the 16 years of Democrat rule and now are being forced to actually do their job. And so by way of them doing their job, they're actually making America healthier again. Oh, what does your statement mean there, Fab Daddy? What social construct are you referring to? And what law? Do you think because Trump went on TV and told people about a study that has been done, a legitimate scientific study that has a legitimate result, do you think that's a law? Do you know how laws are made? Patty says, I'm glad I didn't, right? Sue says, Amy, I have a book from 1871 that instructs women to smoke for their health, but it advises not to do so around men because it's unladylike. That book's probably very smart. By the way, just so you know, smoking increases brain capacity by about 20%. There's a reason that people smoke when they're writing books or just before they go on stage or just before they have a debate, things like that, because nicotine constricts the blood capillaries, which causes an overflow of oxygen in the brain, which allows you to think quicker and more sharply and remember more. It expands the mind. It's very good for the brain. Not so good for the lungs, but it's good for blood flow. It'll calm your nerves. It'll relax you. It'll curb your appetite. It's good for your brain. It increases your vision. It increases your ability to hear. A little bit, not much. Not enough you can tell, but it does. So smoking is very good for you. It's also very bad for you. It helps to know both sides of the story. And it is very unladylike, by the way. So you shouldn't smoke around men. Cowboy says, yeah, Amy. And Amy says, someone put cyanide and Tylenol in the 80s, and it caused mass recall and panic. Welcome to the age of safety seals, right? That's why they put the cotton and the safety seal in the packages. They didn't used to do that. And April says, I've taken Tylenol all my life. I don't know how my kidneys and liver are. I'm due for a checkup. Well, all you got to do is think for a few minutes, and then you'll understand. I was messing with you. Big John says, not as cold as I am. I'm next to the Italian Alps. Wow. Can you see them? I bet they're beautiful. Patty says, they can't tell you how the drugs bring butterflies and rainbows anymore on TV, right? Thank God for that. You know we're the only country that allows that? Every other country outlaws pharmaceutical companies from advertising on television. We're the only one where our news channels are funded by Big Pharma. That's a conflict of interest. Amy says acetaminophen is the active ingredient in Tylenol, Patty. Yes, it is. Linda says, April, I can only take Tylenol because I have bad kidneys. Fab Daddy says, I've taken Tylenol, but I can't get pregnant, so ha! Well, I think you'll be okay there, Fab. Who knew Tylenol was sexist? It only affects women, pregnant women at that. They want to keep women not pregnant. I don't think that works. April says, Amy, so happy Ladina is home. Much love. Yay. Prayers and hearts and smiley faces.
And oh my God, Fab knows he can't get pregnant. Not all hope is lost for him.
Right? At least he knows what a woman is, right? Or what one isn't. Monkey Juice says, if I got a headache, I don't give two shits what Trump says. I'm popping 3 pills. Well, you can't get pregnant, so I'm sure it'll be okay, Monkey Juice. Moron. You probably have a headache because you spend too much time worrying about what Trump says. You thought about that? Maybe you should relax a little. Might work on your headache some. Patty says, I was never one to need pain relievers. Thank God for that, Patty. April says, ha ha ha, Monkey. And Monkey says, show me the data. I don't have to. I'm not trying to prove anything to you.
They say Tylenol is linked to pregnant women and autism. Not you guys. We don't care what y'all take.
It's amazing. Fab Daddy says, what is your remedy for a burn? Butter, water, ice? Well, no, you don't put butter or water on a burn. That'll make it worse. Aloe vera. Aloe vera. That's the best thing for a burn in a pinch. Put butter on it, all you're doing is cooking yourself.
I personally prefer mustard on a burn immediately.
Mustard will work. It's cold and it draws.
It draws the heat out, and then I put aloe on it.
If you got the wherewithal, it probably wouldn't be beneficial to try, but if you are capable, egg white would work. But daub some mustard on there, it'll do it. Aloe vera, that's right. Monkey Juice says, Amanda, that was a press conference with zero factual data. That's incorrect, Monkey Juice. That press conference was held because of the factual data. Just because you didn't get it don't mean it wasn't there. You're not in the government. You don't need to know the data. All you need to know is the results of the data, which is what a press conference is for. What, do you actually think you're owed an explanation to everything? You're not. And by the way, go overdose on Tylenol. Nobody gives a shit. That's not what he was saying. Go listen to the thing instead of running your mouth. You might actually learn something.
Well, when you get your information from the left, you only get bits and pieces of what they want you to know.
I understand that. Patty says, my demon is anxiety. Well, there's a remedy for that, too.
Yeah, eat more gummies, Miss Patty. Eat more gummies.
Actually, the remedy for anxiety is breathing. If you can learn how to breathe, that'll fix that. Takes a little control, though. I'll tell you how to start. Start with 2 seconds in through the mouth, nose and out through the mouth 2 seconds. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 1 1,000, 2 1,000. And just focus on doing that evenly. In, out. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And just focus on the breath, nothing else. And just do that for 5 minutes. Just breathing in and out. Sit straight up, feet on the ground, shoulders back, head up, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Focus. Do it slowly. 5 minutes. Your anxiety levels will drop. It'll take you some practice, but you can do it. Big John says, I can't take paracetamol. I'm allergic to it. But I can't get pregnant either. All right. Paracetamol is the same thing as acetaminophen in Britain. It's just a different brand name. The same drug. And Fab Daddy says, here is a helpful hint. Use lavender and essential oil. Or lavender essential oil. Well, lavender is very good for relaxing and calming. Yes, the smell and to rub it on the skin. But it won't do much for anxiety, which is a mental condition. But it will soothe and relax the body. That's true enough. And Sue says something about peaches and shit and dancing Spanish music. Patty says, I believe most Christians' demons are anxiety because the Bible seems to say this in many scriptures. Be anxious for nothing. It's a devil tool for sure. Anxiety is a tool of the devil. It's not a devil itself. Anxiety is just your body trying to reconcile with things it can't control. That's all that is. All it is your brain jumping to conclusions and your body reacting to it. So you've got to learn how to control this, and then the body will follow suit. Amy says, Monkey Juice, I'll pray for you. You always come in negative and with a bad attitude. That's a horrible way to live your life, but I pray you find Jesus. Thank you, Amy. He's always trying to start some drama, ain't he? Never once does he just say, hello, it's good to be here, or I love you. or anything like that. Just look at what Trump did this time. But we love you, Monkey Juice. Calm your little ass down. Patty says, for burns, silver cream will work. Silver cream will do good for a burn if it's a topical burn. Fab Daddy says, silver cream, that's a new one. Actually, silver has a lot of medicinal properties. It's very good for your body. So is copper, for that matter. Copper and silver both have healing properties to them for different things. Silver cream will be good for a burn if it's a topical burn. If it's a 3rd-degree burn, you need aloe vera or mustard or something like that, and you need to get to a doctor. And if it's bad enough, they might need to scrub it and get the old skin off so that the new skin can grow, or they might have to graft it. A burn is a very severe thing.
You shouldn't use any kind of oil or grease on a burn.
Mm-mm. No, because that's basically cooking it, because the burn keeps hot inside. And if you splash hot grease on you and you put butter on it, all you're doing is cooking. It's the same thing you do to the meat in the pan.
Yep, holding the heat in there.
Yeah, Amy says it depends on the severity of the burn. Correct. It really does. If it's a topical burn, like 1 or 2 layers of skin, silver cream might be good for it. Aloe vera is the best thing for a burn, hands down. Amy says aloe vera, if it's 2nd or 3rd degrees, silver oxide cream. Melinda Davis says silver cream was used all the way back in the Civil War. But you're right, Fab. Lavender essential oil is good. Not for a burn. For relaxation. Silvadine, says Amy. I think it's called. It might be. Mercurochrome methylate. Those are good things. What's the stuff, the red stuff they use to wash with?
Iodine.
Iodine. Iodine is good to clean the area. It couldn't hurt to have some of that stuff, that kind of stuff in your medicine cabinet anyway, and some gauze. Patty says silver sulfadiazine cream. Sulfadiazine. Right on. Fab Daddy says, yeah, but your gas is cheaper than mine. Beef prices and new eggs. Eggs are down. Gas is down. Beef is down. But in that one store, that store was gouging. Amy says, that's it, Patty. Thanks. And like stepping on a Lego. Yeah, Jax. Yep. And Patty says, Miss Amy, I'm talking about a burger joint. Ah. Monkey Juice says, Walmart meat in Florida is the worst. Yeah, I don't like Walmart's meat, but they are cheaper. Monkey Juice says, Publix is a step up. I'm not much. It's not much, but it's a step up. Yeah, Publix is a good store. I like to get my meat from a meat market. A guy killed a cow and chopped him up right there. I like to get it like that. But if I have to buy it at a store, I'm pretty picky about it. Because, like, when you go to buy chicken, you always see these big old chicken legs, you know. They look like they've been stuffed full of steroids. You ever seen a chicken? They're nowhere near that big. A chicken leg looks like my thumb, right? That's a real chicken leg. And I look for that. I don't like the big chickens because when you cook them, the texture is weird. It's like it feels like fat in my mouth. I don't like it. I like chicken, like real chicken. And I think what they do is they put chickens in boxes and then they shove food down their throat until they get so fat they can't move, and then they butcher them. I don't like that. I like chickens that are doing chicken stuff out in the yard, being a chicken. Kill that and cook it. That's good. Be careful what you put in your mouth. That's what I'm saying. Big John says in Britain it's called tapeworms in your poop. right? Trichinosis, you mean? Patty says, I do not trust the fast food meat anymore, y'all. Well, in the early 80s, McDonald's got caught using earthworms in their meat. They were substituting meat with earthworm meat because it kind of tastes like bologna a little bit when you cook it. Don't ask me how I know, but trust me, I know. And they were sued big time. And then they went back to what they call the all-beef patty, which also is mostly soybeans and other stuff. But I wouldn't trust fast food meat as far as you could throw it. It has never been up and up. Fast food, the very definition of fast food is to try to make the cheapest thing as fast as possible. Chances are it's not grass-fed beef. You know what I mean? And their ice cream isn't ice cream. That's why they legally can't call it ice cream. They have to call it soft serve. Because it ain't ice cream. And what they treat their french fries with will kill you until they wash it off. When they handle the potatoes, they have to wear a hazmat suit when they handle the potatoes until they're washed off and peeled, because whatever they grow them in is toxic to the human body. Think about that next time you're eating some delicious McDonald's french fries. Amy says, find a local butcher. Meat is better quality and it's cheaper. Amen to that. Always err for the local source, whether it be honey or vegetables. I have a farm right down the road. I can go pay them per the pound, and I can go right out into the field and pick my own vegetables, whatever I want, in bags, and bring them back and buy it right there on the spot. Fresh vegetables. That's how you do it. Or you can buy seeds and grow you a little garden out back and make your own vegetables. Same thing with meat. A meat market is the way to go. Or somebody that has a farm and a lot of cattle. Buy the whole cow. Put it in your freezer. Amanda? 10:15.
Those are hookworms or round worms here, Nugget.
April says, I agree, Monkey. What do you agree with? Patty says, Publix food is very expensive. Kind of, sort of. And Sue says, snake. Fab Daddy says, bolos were extra large marbles. Got it.
We are way behind.
Way behind. Big John says, there's a ringworm. A ring on the flesh is a circle. Right. That's a ringworm. Yep. Linda says, Fab, we called them ball knockers too. See, when you say that, I think of that thing on the stick with the two balls, and you go, pop, 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 pop. It goes around like that. That's what I'm thinking about.
That's called a cracker or something
Cracker and knocker.
Yeah, something like that.
Sue says, I'm getting sleepy. It's only 7:16 p.m., but I got up at 2:30 a.m. this morning. I hear you. I'm getting sleepy too. Fab Daddy says, Steelers are steel marbles. Okay, I don't think I've ever seen those then. I thought those were ball bearings. I have seen ball bearings, but I didn't know they were marbles. I thought they were a ball bearing that got taken out of a ball bearing. Amy says, that's ringworm, John. Righto. And Amanda says,
yes, Nugget, that's ringworm.
Monkey Juice says, I had great value frozen pizza from Walmart. Actually pretty good. And I love Walmart pizza. They have a killer pizza. I can't remember what it's called, but it's something like Earth Pizza or something like that.
It's the Great Value brand pizza.
In a brown box?
Yes, it's the Walmart brand. It's the same pizza.
Okay, same pizza. Man, that thing is fantastic. It's got vegetables on it, like real vegetables. Not like what you typically get in a pizza. It's different. It's more like an Italian pizza is what I think of. I know it ain't, but it's more Italian than the pizza you get at Pizza Hut. But it's bigger than a regular pizza, like an extra large. It's in a brown box, and that thing tastes wonderful when you cook it in the oven and add your own pepperoni to it and cheese. Try it. I wholly recommend that monkey juice. I didn't think it was called Great Value. I thought it was called something else, but it's in the brown box if that's the one you're talking about. Yeah. Was it Great Value? I guess it was, Fab Daddy. Whatever the Walmart brand of pizza is.
He said, what is a great value? I said Walmart brand, Fab.
No, he says, was it a great value?
Oh.
Was it? Yes, it was. And I think they're like $8 for that big pizza, something like that. Last time I bought one, anyway.
Yeah, that's about what they cost.
And it's big. It's bigger than a large pizza from the pizza store. Fab Daddy says, duh.
LOL, Fab.
And I know that, says Fab Daddy. It's good to know all things, Fab Daddy. An exercise that none of us will ever achieve, but it's wonderful to try. Sue says, Fab Daddy says, Walmart took the mom and pop's shops here. I miss shopping with Kmart. Well, that's the trouble with Walmart. It puts everybody else out of business. And then what you get in return is cheap plastic nonsense for the most part. But it's cheap.
Well,
I don't miss Kmart, though. I always thought that was like a cheap version of Walmart.
I got lucky when Kmart went out of business. There was one more Kmart left in Lakeland, and they were having this huge sale. I got an $800 trampoline for $250.
Wow.
Yeah, I lucked up on that. It was the last one they had, too.
April says, LOL, true, Fab. Amanda says, oh, yeah, Elizabeth. Big John says, when a person has tapeworm, you see them going across the ground on their butts like a dog. Yeah, that sucks. Sue says, Jake, when are you going to send me some music you played for me to sing to? Don't know. I didn't know I was supposed to.
LOL, Nugget.
Linda says, Fab, are you pretty much the same age as what? Oh, we are pretty much the same age. Yeah, pretty much. Cowboy says, smiley, smiley. And Fab says, turning 56 soon.
I fell in love with you anyway. I'd give you everything for just one kiss.
Yeah, me too, Fab Daddy, at some point. And Sue says, I'm 49. I am the youngest. Not quite.
No, Sue's 40. She's the youngest.
Oh, 40, not 49. Linda says, close, Fab. I'll be turning 59. Ugh. Cowboy says, prime. Fab Daddy says, I fell in love with you anyway because I can't take no for an answer. Right? Well, neither person in that song is innocent. They both have issues. Amanda says, oh, no.
Yeah.
And April says, 50 here. Oh, no. LOL. Patty says, $1 million song, Jack Johnson. I'll take it. I'd like to have Jack Johnson's money. April says, sing it, Jake. Thank you, ma'am.
LOL, Fab. And I didn't.
You didn't what?
Take no for an answer.
Big John says, I'm 54. Amy says, I'm only as old as I feel. And it depends on how much Tylenol I've taken. Right on. Me too.
I'm 44.
April says, ha, Amy, that's hilarious. I thought you were 42.
No, I'm 6 years younger than you.
Oh. Cowboy says, smiley, smiley. Big John says, Amy, smiley, smiley. Patty says, I'm the new 30, right? April says, woohoo, thank you, Jake Love. You're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you. And Sue says, run. Run around, Sue. Big John says, thanks, Jake, for playing song. My pleasure, buddy. Thank you for listening. Linda says, I guess I'm the oldest here. One of the oldest here. Nah. You still look good for your age if you are old. Fab Daddy says, time for my ears. What's wrong with your ears? Fab Daddy says, yeah, Granny. Patty says, message retracted. I can't read it if you retract it, Patty. And Sue says, how can I stop myself from wanting to pick scabs? Put hot sauce on them. Cowboy says, nope, Linda Davis. I think Cowboy's got you beat. Amy says, I'm almost old enough to get a senior discount. Right? Me too. And Linda says, Fab, bleh. Big John says, Linda, you're only 30? She's the new 30. And Fab Daddy says, Sue, they itch. Amy says, if you wanted to scar, Sue. And Fab Daddy says, I picked a scab accidentally and then go, crap, I'm bleeding again. Yeah, I'm getting to the age now where these are starting to show up on my hands for no apparent reason. I just look down and I got a new sore and I don't know where it came from. I don't know what that's all about, but it seems to happen to people when they get a certain age. The old hand trick. Works every time. Amanda says,
Cover it with liquid bandage, Sue.
that's actually a pretty good idea. Put some super glue on it. That'll stop you. You got to be careful picking them scabs. You might get them mixed up with your cornflakes, and then you're in for a good time. Linda says, yep, you tell him, Nugget. Fab Daddy says 30 in several months. Quite a few months. Linda says, smiley, smiley. And Sue says, so, if you're autistic and you take Tylenol, do you become more autistic? No. Why would you think that? There is a correlation between Tylenol levels in the blood and autistic births from pregnant women. A correlation means that there is some validity to the study of increased Tylenol levels causing or contributing to the factors that cause autism. Doesn't mean it directly causes it. Doesn't mean that if you take Tylenol, your child will be autistic. It just means that it's a contributing factor to it. Fab Daddy says, LOL, Sue, become part of the study. I don't think that's how that works. And Amanda says, no, Sue. And Debbie says, the study never suggested that adults should not take Tylenol. It has to do with the development of babies. Exactly. A fully grown person that is not pregnant can take Tylenol without issue. I mean, you might ruin your liver, but, you know, some lessons are hard to learn. Amanda says, oh, Sue, 8-ball is fab crazy. That's how you do it. Exclamation point, 8-ball. Then ask it a question. Sue says, Amanda, I want more autism, damn it. Well, that would make sense. Amy says, reverse psychology. Trump needs to tell people to commit crimes and don't believe in God. The Trump derangement syndrome will do the opposite. Problem solved. You're not wrong. 8-ball says, are you kidding? You kidding me? Fab Daddy says, are you kidding me? April says, LOL. And Sue says, 8-Ball, are we having fun tonight? 8-Ball says, Kevin drinks a lot. I need to change that. Sue says, poor Kevin. April says, Amy says, needs to update the 8-Ball answers. Yes, I do. In fact, I'll do that tonight before I go to bed. Amanda says, 8-Ball, is Debbie molesting her pickle? 8-Ball says, most likely. John says, it will take a miracle to make me smart. I think you're smart, John. Right now. I mean, look where you're at. Dumb people don't stay here. Sue says, 8-Ball is nugget line. 8-Ball says, that's a tough one. Fab Daddy says, 8-Ball, is 8-Ball bullshit? 8-Ball says, definitely. I mean, you have to know that, right? It's an 8-Ball. Get your wisdom from me, not the 8-Ball. Sue says, 8-Ball, do people here like me? 8-Ball says, I don't think so. Debbie says, Amanda, the 8-Ball lies. And Fab Daddy says, that's BS, Sue. It's an 8-Ball. Of course it is. Sue says, that's mean. No, it's not. You asked the question to a thing that gives random answers. It's not mean at all. It has no feelings. It's an 8-Ball. Come on now. It's entertaining. That's all it's for. It is not a sentient being. It is a string of code designed to give prescribed random answers that cannot know the question. And Amanda says, yes, it does, Debbie. It's completely random. Big John says, who is 8-Ball? It's a code. It's a game. It's a chat game. April says, ha. Fab Daddy says, 8-Ball is a program AI generated. It's not AI generated. It was written out. Debbie says, 8-Ball, does Amanda have a pickle? 8-Ball says, 9. Which is German for 1 less than 10. Sue says, 8-Ball is a fun prompt. Nugget, just type 8-Ball with no spaces and a question to play. Or exclamation point, 8-Ball with no spaces. Exactly. And Amanda says, it's a game made by Jake. Patty says, Barbara and JR. Barbara Eden and JR. Yep.
LOL. Nope, Debbie. I have a Jake.
And my name is Pickle.
Well, it depends on what mood I'm in.
It depends on what mood I'm in. Might be Snail.
I can fix that problem usually, too.
Sometimes it's like a snail wearing a sweater, and other times it's like an alien. Fab Daddy says, Bill Maher's show was politically incorrect. Hang on, my chat jumped. I like Bill Maher. I like to watch him wrestle with reality as it crashes down around him. Where am I at? Hello.
10:39.
10:39. 10:39?
Yes.
Wow. Jumped a lot.
Yeah, somehow we're still almost an hour behind.
That's all right. Bill Maher's show was politically incorrect. Before Real Time on HBO, he was canceled also by ABC. Yeah, when you do things that your company don't like, they fire you. That's how business works. Jimmy Kimmel should have stayed off the air. He's a not funny, no rating getting, poor excuse for a comedian. Lady B says, I grew up watching Bewitched, Jake. That was my favorite, Elizabeth Montgomery. I liked Bewitched too. But I was watching I Dream of Jeannie before Bewitched ever came on. Probably not, but that's the way I saw it. I don't remember what year Bewitched was out. And it may have very well been before I Dream of Jeannie. But I saw I Dream of Jeannie first and Bewitched next. And Star Trek before all that. Sue says, Jake is far behind. That's what happens when everybody talks. But that's okay. It's fun, it's entertaining, and I'll quit at midnight. And Fab Daddy says, never looked at his behind.
I look at it daily, LOL.
Now you have. Debbie.
It's just a tease. We can't see nothing. Top of a hip, maybe.
That's all you're going to get. Lady B says, Fab Daddy, ℂ𝕚𝕝𝕝𝕝𝕝𝕝. Amanda, smiley, smiley. Fab Daddy says, Amanda, tell Jake he had my permission to skip all my comments. Never. Amy says, picturing a frog in pantyhose, Jake's butt. I got a nice butt. What you talking about?
LOL, Fab. He won't.
You think I look like a frog in pantyhose, Amanda?
No.
Do I have any kind of body left?
Yeah.
Well, elaborate.
Elaborate on what?
What I just asked.
I can't. I mean, they don't want to know how I feel about it.
She just asked. Or she didn't. She said.
She said what? That you look like a frog in pantyhose?
Right. So
Well,
I said,
No.
clarify.
I mean, no. He's got a very handsome, solid, sexy ass. It's got the little side dimples in the sides.
All right. I just meant elaborate on the shape. I didn't
Like
mean
I
go into
said.
detail.
I mean, that's why I wasn't going. That's why I wasn't going to elaborate because I mean I don't know how else to explain it. He's got an onion butt. Let's put it that way. There we go. He has an onion butt.
The more you peel, the more you cry.
Nope. The more you look at it, the more it makes your eyes water.
Linda says, I'm going to start calling you Daddy Fab because I think you're really older than me. Fab Daddy says, yeah, I am an old soul. Lady B says, how old is he? I think he said 54. Can't remember. Sue says, I'm flagging. All right. Lady B says 70s and 80s is old. 50s is prime, right? I think 30s is prime. I think 50s is pushing it. It used to be old. Go back and look at 50-year-olds in the 70s. Go back and look at 30-year-olds in the 70s. They look like 50-year-olds now. Amy says, I'm flagging too. Look. Sue says, flagging means getting tired. If you say so. Fab Daddy says, age is just a number. The number of times your bones crack when you wake up in the morning. Amen. April says, ha, 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 y'all are hilarious. That's the point. That's why we're here. Amy says, good night, Sue, sweet dreams. Lady B says, thank you, Sue. I thought it meant shut up. Sue says, I'm not going to sleep yet, Amy, but getting tired. And Sue says, Lady B, smiley. And Lady B says, Fab, skull and crossbones. I think that was a threat. April says, LOL, Amanda. Lady B says, Sue, smiley, smiley. Big John says, I'm not tired. It's 4:47 in the morning here. It's 11:31 here. PM. Sue says, Nugget, when do you sleep? After the show, like me. Lady B says, Sue. Linda Davis says, dang, Nugget, when do you sleep? After the show, like me. And Lady B says, I never see Nugget. That's fine. You don't? It's Big John Nugget. 1047. Make sure you're on live chat and not top chat or all chat. You'll find that up at the top of your chat box. And Linda says, Lady B, Nugget is Big John.
Lady, you don't see the name Big John Nugget, but no, she doesn't.
Right below what Amanda just said, Big John Nugget. Linda, I hardly sleep. I only need about an hour or two a day. I remember those days. I used to be like that. I used to sleep 4 hours a night, and the rest of the time I was peaking, just hard as I could go. Everything I did was to turn a profit, make something happen. I did that for like 20 years, and I burnt slap out. Now I have to get a nap in the middle of the daytime, or I can't function. I hit 50 hard. I went right up to 49 as hard as I could go, and when I hit 50, I was like the brakes just went on. So I'm feeling my middle age all at once. It takes everything I can do to push past that. Aaron, did you fall asleep or are you just hanging out?
I think you fell asleep.
I think so too. Cowboy says something. One of those. Amy says blood thinner and ibuprofen or naproxen sodium both have similar molecular structures. Right on. You talking about for the bumps in the hand? Lady B says, yep, I never see him. I see y'all comment to him. That's weird. There's some weirdness going on with YouTube chat. I don't know if they fixed that or not, or if they can fix it or not. Nugget is a catnapper. Yep.
Wow, lady.
Amy says, who, Lady B? Nugget. Lady B says, no ma'am, Amanda. Fab Daddy says, I need 8 hours a night or I reclaim it days later. Right? I don't get 8 hours a night, but I try to sleep as much as possible now. I go to bed about probably 2:30, 3:30, something like that. And I'm up by 7. Lady B says, Amy, I never see Nugget, a.k.a. John. Patty says, not with Tylenol because I didn't take it. Amy says, check your block list. Maybe I remember you got mad at someone one time. I can't remember who. Maybe you hit him by accident. I think if she, well, I don't know how that works actually. He's not on my list because I just went through it the other night because of Angel Eyes. And I didn't see any names familiar to the chat in there. There's a bunch of names in there, but they're all old. Lady B says, how do I look? YouTube? I'm not sure how you look. I would imagine it's in your settings.
Well, typically she would click on the name, but if she can't see the name, then she can't click on the name. She would have to go to his channel and see if he's blocked.
I don't know how that works.
If she goes to his channel, it should tell her if she has him blocked or not.
Can you talk her through that?
If she needs help, yeah.
She does. She just asked. Can you talk her through that?
Yes. I mean, I need to know what she doesn't understand how to do.
She doesn't understand how to see if John's blocked.
I just told her how. She has to type in his name in the search, Big John Nugget, and go to his page. If she can see his page, he's not blocked.
Okay. I'll do it for you.
You can't.
Type in your search bar, Big John Nugget, and hit search, and then look for Big John Nugget and click on it. And when it pulls up, it should tell you under his name whether he's blocked from you or not. Extreme Element says, Sue Woods. The 8 Ball says, don't ask that. I've never seen that before. That's new. Oh, is Amy a nice person? Yeah, don't ask that. Amy is a nice person. She's also brilliant and funny. And she loves me. So, Big John says, I checked mine. No one blocked from this channel. Thank you, Big John. Amy says, YouTube is in your settings. And Lady B says, thank you, sweetheart Amy. And Lady B says, who is 8 Ball? I don't see them either. So, mysterious marauder that pops in from time to time. He's a troll. Comes from the planet X, and we can't seem to stop him from coming into the chat room. April says, facts regarding smoking. Of course it is. And Sue says, it's a game, Lady B. 8 Ball is a game. It's a chat game that we play from time to time. And Lady B says, be right back.
LOL, lady. It's a chat game. It comes up as stream elements.
Linda says, damn, I might have to start smoking again. Especially if you want to be a master debater like me. And yes, I can do that because I'm the first person that told that joke, not Charlie Kirk or South Park. Lady B says, ℂ𝕚𝕝𝕝𝕝𝕝, Sue, I don't game. I did Pac-Man in the 80s. Well, you don't have to. It's just there if people want to play with it. April says, maybe back in the 1800s, ℂ𝕚𝕝𝕝𝕝. What in the 1800s? What are you talking about, April? Fab Daddy says, I know Jake's far behind, but I love that my previous statement gets his heart rate up. What was your previous statement? I don't even remember it. Nugget is a catnapper? That's your previous statement. April says, shut up, Jake. ℂ𝕚𝕝𝕝𝕝. Never. Shut don't go up. Prices do. Take my advice and... Fab Daddy says, no arguments here. Patty says, I did Pac-Man in the 80s. Me too. Big John says, it's dark here at the moment. I bet. April says, I have Pac-Man game. You have a Pac-Man game like right now? Where? Aaron must have fallen asleep, says Amy. I think he did. Aaron, wake up. This is the other you talking. Fab Daddy says, need a light mugs? Need a light mugs.
Nugs.
Nugs. Need a light nugs? Patty says, that should tell us everything about Big Pharma, about the fact that they advertise with our news channels. Oh, yeah. I agree. April says, yeah, I haven't seen Aaron comment. I hope he's doing well. I think he fell asleep on us. He's here. He just probably passed out. I know he was tired. And Linda says, I think so, Amy. Amy says, it's dark here too, Nugget. It's dark here too. Fab Daddy says, Aaron is here, or he was. He's here, he's just asleep. I'm sure of it. Or he might be out there messing with his neighbor again. Amy says, I'm driving home. I'll be listening. Love y'all. Love you too. Be careful. Fab Daddy says, safe travels. April says, I love you back, Amy. Be safe, hon. Cowboy says, heart. Debbie says, Amy, what happened to Larry? Not driving with Larry tonight? No, I ruined it when I told her that she was diddling white leprechauns. Sue says, I'm going to eat some fruit of the loons, which is probably chewy. Lady B says, no, Linda, don't please. I want us to visit. I still have long COVID, long-term damage from COVID. Me too, pulmonary. Doctor said no smoking. Well, that's what's wrong with me. April says, sounds good, Sue. And Lady B says, sweet dreams, y'all. Love y'all. Are you leaving us? Well, we love you too, Lady B. Thank you for being here. Have a good night. We'll see you next time. Big John says, I love fruit. Peaches. Amanda says, good night, lady. And April says, sweet dreams, lady. God bless. Prayers and smiley faces and heart. Lady B says, night, night, sweetheart, Amanda. And Sue says, night, Lady B. And Fab Daddy says, good night, lady. Amanda says, Amy done wore Larry out. Ooh, Larry. Lady B says, love you, April. Amy says, Larry is with his brother Daryl and his other brother Daryl. Hi, I'm Larry. This is my brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl. And Linda says, don't worry, Lady B. I was joking. Good night. And Monkey Juice says, yes, Jake, as an American citizen, I'm absolutely on a need-to-know basis. Besides, anybody that says smoking is good for them is a moron. I think you need to check the science on that, buddy. And if you want to call me a moron, you better get some Wheaties and buckle up and sit down tight, because I will take you around the block. You have no idea what I'm capable of and how fast I can shred you to little bits, little pieces of I don't know what the hell I'm talking about scattered all over the floor. Don't ever make the mistake of thinking that you can hold wits with me. I'm a grown man and you're a child in that context. Remember that. It'll do you good. I never said smoking was good for you. I said it was good for your brain. And it was bad for your lungs. April says, Lamau. And Lady B says, love you, Fab Daddy. And Fab Daddy says, love you too, if I didn't tell you already. And April says, oh boy. Lady B says, good, Linda. You had me worried. And April says, love you too, Fab Daddy, vibrating heart and prayers. Stop being a doctor, says Monkey Juice. Well, why? I did the time. I got the degree. Why can't I be a doctor? Who are you to tell me what I can and can't be?
It's 2025. He can identify as anything.
Yeah, but I don't have to, do I?
No.
Amy says, like I said earlier, negative and nasty attitude. And also, no situational awareness. No idea who he's talking to. I find that both charming and hilarious. Amy says, monkey poop. Sue says, here we go again, Sue. This is what the channel's about. Thicken up.
Stop being a leftist, monkey.
Fab Daddy says lavender will heal a burn quick with less scar tissue, but cover it nonetheless. Less. And Linda says, I love you too, Fab Daddy, even if you called me old. John says cold water on burns. Fab Daddy says, no, I didn't, unless Granny is old. And then, yeah, I called you Granny old. Granny's kind of the context of old, yeah. And Debbie says, breathing for anxiety does work. And just try saying random numbers in your head 63, 147, 678, 26. Yes, that's focusing the mind on a random task. Yes. And so on. It will rewire your brain and give it something else to think about. Exactly. You got to control the mind. Remember that when you constrict a thing, that's when it can grow. If you let it do whatever it wants to do, it goes all over the place. You have to restrain. That's what a disciple is. Someone who practices discipline. So you got to restrict the brain. You got to cause it to focus on a target. That'll reduce anxiety. Thank God Jimmy is back, says Monkey Juice. Well, yeah, you need somebody to listen to. Keep that nonsense going in your head. Hang on to it as hard as you can because it's a dying art.
He ain't gonna last long.
Fab Daddy says, did you watch last night, Monkey? And Monkey says, yep. Sue says, that's what I do for minor burns, Nugget. Don't suck on a burn, though. Yeah, you don't want to suck on a burn. Trust me, it's stupid. It causes infections and makes it worse. Been there and done that. Yeah, don't put things in your mouth that are open wounds. Yeah. Amanda says.
LOL on 18 channels, Monkey.
Yeah. I'm pulling down better numbers than Jimmy Kimmel is. That ain't saying a lot. Linda Davis says, yes, for a burn, lavender essential oil is antibacterial and antifungal. Fab is correct. And Monkey Juice says, freedom of speech, deal with it. It's not freedom of speech. If you do something that pisses a company off that you work for and they fire you for, that has nothing to do with freedom of speech. Donald Trump did not get Jimmy Kimmel fired. Jimmy Kimmel got Jimmy Kimmel fired. The only reason he's back is because some dumbass like you went up there and shot 3 bullets into the ABC building and they caved like cowards. Jimmy Kimmel is on the air only because they caved to terrorism. I hope you enjoy that. Fab Daddy says he got teary for Charlie Kirk. Was it an act? He did not get teary for Charlie Kirk. He got teary for himself because he's not capable of empathy.
It was fake regardless.
He got teary because he got caught. He didn't apologize for what he said, the lie that he said. He didn't apologize for his insensitivity to the death of a good, innocent man. He didn't apologize for anything that he's ever done. He just did what he always does, run his mouth. And he only got to do it because ABC's scared of terrorists, not because of anybody wanting him. Big John says, a few years ago, I spilled hot oil on my foot. 2nd-degree burns. Spent 3 weeks in the hospital. Dang. I flipped over a pork chop one time and splashed hot grease on my belly with no shirt on. I probably should have went to the hospital, but I didn't. I just put some duct tape on it and kept cooking. Not really. But I did put Neosporin on it and kept cooking. Sue says, Muggy, I watched it earlier today. Never watched him before. Had the opposite effect. Linda says, Fab, being a grandma is the best thing that ever happened to me, so I guess I'll give you a pass on calling me granny. And Monkey says, absolutely not, Fab. It was legit. He's not heartless, but some people want to make it out like that. Yeah, like Jimmy Kimmel. If you've ever listened to a word he's ever said, or like when he was on the Man Show, when he would try to get women to stick their hands in his pockets to guess what's in there, or when he did blackface on TV. Yeah, none of that matters though, right? By the way, where's your outrage for Roseanne Barr and Tucker Carlson and all of the plethora of right-wing people that were fired because they did something that pissed off their companies. Was that free speech?
I bet you Monkey's mad because Destiny's getting in trouble too, right?
Sue says, freedom of speech, even if you disagree. Yeah, that's not what this issue's about. He didn't get fired for a lack of freedom of speech. He got fired because he lied on national television, and you can't keep doing that when you're a public figure and people listen to you. You have to have some accountability for the truth. That's the same reason they're pulling old Crooked Ear off the television. Same reason The View will be next. Nobody thinks it's funny anymore, and your time is over. You know, it struck me that a sick young man who listens to the very same thing you listen to climbed up on a building and took a pot shot at somebody and actually hit them in the neck, killing a good, righteous, God-fearing husband, father, and leader, thought leader. A young man who did not deserve to die for having a conversation across the board. But the thing that impresses me the most is that bullet did not hit Charlie Kirk. It hit you. You're just too dumb to realize that you're dead yet. Wake up and see what's happening around you. This world is changing in a big way, and that nonsense ain't gonna fly anymore. You can't just rattle off bullshit and expect to hold the ground anymore. Now, if you're gonna say some bullshit, you're gonna have to back it up, buddy. If you can't, you're gonna get laughed off the stage. It's that simple. The time of tolerating you is over. April says, that is sad about what they do to chickens, even though I love fried chicken. Why is it sad? Honey, that's where food comes from. What's sad is how they do it in factory settings. If they do it the right way, let chickens be chickens and then cull them, that's good. The farm-fed chickens, that's not good. April says, ooh, I don't want to ever eat at McDonald's again. Ugh, you probably shouldn't. Here's how you know. Go buy a Big Mac and throw it in the back seat of your car and leave it there. A year later, go get it. See what it looks like. It'll look just as fresh as the day you bought it, and ants won't eat it, and mold won't eat it. It will not rot. It'll be just like it was the day you bought it, hard as a brick, but look exactly the same. That's proof you shouldn't eat it. Fab Daddy says, I believe it was an act, but with empathy as the purpose to show remorse. Except he didn't say anything remorseful. He didn't apologize for lying to people. He didn't apologize for blaming the right wing for something that the left wing did, or misleading people, or misguiding people. He didn't blame himself for any of that. He obfuscated. That was a non-apology, so it was not remorseful. And his tears were as fake as anything I've ever seen. That being said, I do believe he got caught up in the hype and said some nonsense that he should not have said. I don't think that he thought it was going to get him in trouble. And I do think he genuinely wants to keep his job. And I think he should. I don't think he should be counseled for that. But I do think that he should be punished for it. Enough that he'll stop doing it. I don't mind people espousing a different opinion than mine. But when you outright lie to people and mislead them, you can't keep doing that. That's what got us in this mess in the first place. There are plenty of left-wing people or liberal people that I like Bill Maher. He doesn't lie to his audience. He's wrong a lot, but that's not a lie. And I support Bill Maher. I like his work. I disagree with almost everything he thinks, but I like him.
He's leaning right, though.
Yes, he is, because you can't do this and not see the truth eventually. Lady B says McDonald's is camel meat. I haven't eaten it since 81. It might be. It's definitely not beef. Everyone says, ugh. And Sue says, 8-ball is McDonald's gross. 8-ball says, you have found the secret response. Congratulations, you win 10 points. Monkey Juice says, legitimate tears, Fab. Watch it again. Sue says, 10 points, yeah. And Lady B says, monkey, prune juice.
Fake ass tears. He's fake as hell.
And Sue says, 10 points for what? Whatever you want to spend it on. Don't spend it all in one place, though. Monkey says, yup, lady. Trying to divide. Well, you're not going to succeed here. Not even a little. You can try all you want, but you won't succeed. This channel's protected by God. Sue says, did you know? Did I know what? OW? Mm-mm. And Lady B says, I wish you'd come to Alabama, little boy. Damn. All right. I'll go a little bit longer and I got to stop. My voice is giving out. Sue says, did you know there is beef at McDonald's fries? And Big John says, in Britain, they're trying to do halal, make it a law. All wrong animal rights. Let me try that again. In Britain, they're trying to do halal, make it a law. All wrong animal rights. I don't know what halal is. Fab Daddy says, yes, he really tears up, but my mind says it's an act to show his compassion. He had that script before the show was written. It wasn't off the cuff. Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether the tears were real or not. What matters is the intention was not real. That man's not sorry he did anything. Monkey Juice says, I'm a 57-year-old little boy. I'm sorry it took you this long to grow up. And you still ain't there yet.
All fake with his sorry ass.
Lady B says, then damn it, act like it. Where are you from, ass juice? Damn, Lady B, get him. Fab Daddy says, yep. Those knickers were used as marbles in the day. All right. Monkey Juice says, I love coming into the lion's den. Well, thank you for calling me a lion, but this isn't a lion's den. That's in your head, buddy. This is just a guy trying to have a good conversation. And Linda says, I'm older, monkey. Sit down and behave yourself. And April says, LOL, been there. Fab Daddy says, oh shit, Granny put you in place, monkey. And Sue says, monkey see, monkey should do. And Lady B says, ass juice, act your age. Big John says, monkey, sometimes age doesn't make you smarter all the time. No, age has very little to do with intelligence or maturity. Fab Daddy says, hey, monkey is a brother from another mother. Be kind to him or feel my wrath. You bring your wrath on and watch it bounce right off of me. Don't care. I will be appropriate to whatever comes my way. I will match whatever comes my way. I don't answer to my mother. I'm certainly not going to answer to you. But I appreciate you trying. And I'm sure he appreciates you standing up for him. But it holds no weight with me. You show up in my face, I'm going to put you out of my face. It's as simple as that. If you're smart, you'll come here to listen, because you'll know that I am in good faith trying to promote wisdom and pass on some intellect to the world, whether you agree with it or not. If you're smart, you'll listen. I doubt very seriously that you have the wherewithal to conduct yourself in that manner. But if you find yourself in a position where you can, I suggest you do. Monkey Juice says, what did I say wrong? You're just having a bad attitude, man. You didn't say anything wrong. People can't deal with the other side. Does it look like we can't deal with the other side, Monkey Juice? Do you think you have a side to stand on? You don't. Your side's been dealt with. And Fab Daddy says, you have every right to pick on me. Leave my other brother Daryl alone. I will not. Nobody is picking on anybody. But if you stand up and speak to me, I'm going to speak back to you. I don't care who you are. Debbie says, Monkey, it is one's honor to avoid strife, but every fool is quick to quarrel. Proverbs 23. Lady B says, Fab Daddy Smiley. And Linda says, come at me, Daddy. I can take it. I know you can. You're a hell of a warrior. Lady B says, prune juice, what side? And Fab Daddy says, damn, that's an invite. That's hard to turn down. What are we talking about? If you were invited, don't turn it down. And Sue says, I wanted to go to bed an hour ago. Well, go to bed. Nobody's stopping you. I'm the only one that has to be here. Patty says, well, I guess I should turn in. Thank you, Miss Amanda and Jake. And be happy, healthy, and stay the course to win the spiritual war we're in. Thank you all. Peace, prayers, and tongue. Patty, I love you, sweetheart. Thank you for being here. God bless you, and you're absolutely right. Mea culpa, and have a good night. Lady B says, good night, Patty, hugs. April says, good night, Patty, hugs and love. God bless. Linda says, good night, Patty. And Sue says, stop making me laugh so much. Cowboy says, good night, Patty.
Night, Patty.
Fab Daddy says, yep, it's time to cook my dinner. Potatoes and Spam. 2 and 5, everybody. May you all be blessed. May you be blessed also, Fab Daddy. God bless you, my friend. Have a good night.
Night, Fab.
Cowboy says, I'm falling out. Good night, all. Me too. Good night. Thank you for being here. I love you. Monkey Juice says, hey, Lady B, do you think this country is divided? Yeah. And I think your kind divided it. And my kind is going to rebuild it when your kind dies because it doesn't know how to create anything.
Night, Cowboys.
Linda says, good night, Fab Daddy. Thanks for letting me pick on you tonight. And April says, good night, Fab and Cowboy. Much love and God bless. And Linda says, good night, Cowboys.
Night, Cowboys.
Sue says, 8 ball, will I get good sleep tonight? And 8 ball says, don't bet on it. Monkey Juice says, 11:30. Jimmy's coming on now. Must see TV. Yeah, keep believing that. Big John says, 8 ball, will I get pregnant? 8 Ball says, for sure. April says, LOL. Debbie says, was that a bear behind? I think I saw a chick. Cheek. Big John says, Jake, peach.
LOL, no, Debbie. He has on gray shorts.
Sweatpants. Debbie says, oops. My gaster's got flabbered. I meant cheek. Your gaster's got your flabbergasted. Debbie says, well, damn, Amanda, I got excited for nothing.
LOL, Debbie.
Fab Daddy says, dinner is done. I want an after-dinner smoke. Why after eating is that craving stronger? Well, because you filled your body with food, and now your brain says it's time to be satisfied, which is what a cigarette does. Satisfies you. Sue says, did you know it takes 3 nights of good sleep to make up for 1 bad night of sleep? And Fab says, no, I didn't know that. And April says, here's your channel, John. Y'all go visit John. And April says, there you go, Sue. Fab Daddy says, good mudding, April. Thank you for all you do, April. And April says, thanks, Fab. And it wasn't ladylike for women to smoke. Back in the day, that was considered disrespectful. It's funny how ideas change over time. The Overton window moves. The Overton window is whatever is popular within a frame. When the frame moves, whatever popular moves, and the people stay the same. And April says, yes, it's a big Atari-looking game, and it's got 5 Pac-Man games and a Galaxy game. You know which one I'm talking about? Galaxia, yeah. Or Missile Command, or whatever it's called. Sorry. April says, oh, I read that one. Amy says, I made it home safely. God bless. April says, nice, Amy. Amy says, I was teasing when I said frog in a pantyhose. I only see you from the shoulders up. I know. I was teasing back. Sounded a little self-serving, but it was a joke. And April says, LOL. And Sue says, my boyfriend's back and you're gonna get in trouble. Hey la, my boyfriend's back. I miss those days. And April says, hey now, my boyfriend's back. Pretty sure it's hey la. Walter Davis, good evening all. Walter, my friend, how you doing? April says, LOL. And Amy says, Granny's old, but are you Granny Panties old?
Hi, Walter.
I don't think I'd even admit to wearing granny panties. April says, hey, Walter, love and hugs. Monkey Juice says, escalator gate. We need an investigation. No, we don't. I know exactly what happened. Why do you think you need an investigation when you clearly see what that was all about? That was some disrespectful little shit trying to embarrass Trump, and he got the last laugh. That's all there is to that. Same reason the teleprompter didn't work. And he got the last laugh again, because he's undefeatable.
Because he knows how to talk off the cuff.
Amy says, Jake mentioned old. Walter comes into chat. Hey, Walter. Damn. Sorry, my voice is getting so strained. It's getting harder and harder to talk. April says, what's going on, Walter? How you doing? And Sue says, why does my charger cable stop working? Don't know. Amy says, mine does that too, Sue. Jimmy Kibble, says Amy. Jimmy Kibble. Walter says, hey, Jake, Amanda, Sue, April, Amy, Fab, Debbie, John, Monkey, Linda, Lady. Sue says, hey, Walter. Amy says, Walter, nice square body on your profile picture. Walter says, April, physically, I'm good. Mentally, getting worn out hanging with my mother who has Alzheimer's. Take a break. Go get some fresh air, some peace and quiet, and get back at it. Amy says, Walter, my dad died of that. It's hard watching someone who used to take care of you deteriorating in front of you. Hugs. Yeah, I know that's got to be hard. Sue says, the worst burn I ever got was when I poured boiling hot tomato soup on myself. Gotta be careful. Amy says, the actress in Star Wars movie, Anna, in the Star Wars movie. Which Star Wars movie? New or old? Carrie Fisher is the one in the old. And the one in the new is I can't remember her name. Because she's forgettable. British chick. Look up who's in the new Star Wars movies. The girl. Rey is her character's name. Who plays Rey in the Star Wars movie? Nugget says, good night, everybody. Much love. Hopefully back at home on Friday. Be careful out there, John. We love you, buddy. And good night. God bless. Be safe.
Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley. Amy says, I was making peanut brittle, Susie. Nice. I want some peanut brittle. Sue says, night, Nugget. Amy says, Amanda says, night, Nugget.
Night, Nugget.
Amy says, Godspeed, John. April says, OMG, I'm so sorry, Walter. I know how that feels. Ugh, hang in there, hon. All right? We're here for you, love and prayers. Amen. And Sue says, don't laugh at me. I didn't sew anything. Who's laughing at you? Amy says, Big Mac in the back seat will make your car stink. Will it? I don't think you'll smell it at all. I mean, it might. I don't think it will, though. It'll smell like McDonald's. And Amy says, who's laughing at you, hon? I don't know. I didn't hear anybody. And if it's me, I'm laughing at everybody. Can't take that seriously. Debbie says, Amy, tell Big Mac to shower then. Amy says, LOL, Debbie. And Sue says, Jake, Sue. Second time. I'm not laughing at you. Relax. Amy says, he's not laughing at you. He's talking about kibble. At that time I was. Dog food, says Sue. Yeah. Is your name Kibble? Or Jimmy? How could that be directed at you? All right. I'm going to bed. I love you guys. Have a great night. I'll see you on Friday.
Good night, y'all.
Have a good night. God bless each and every one of you. I love you true. Be nice to people. Like, subscribe, share, support, join in Super Chat. And by going to Cash App, $, Jake Johnson Band. Have a great night. God bless. Thanks for watching.